So yeah, like full disclaimer, I just got home from like my friend's house. We had like a get together with my like our kids and their kids are our best friends. So we had a fun time at their house, and he had like this whole cabinet full of whiskey, right? So I tried like all of it.
All right, so we're
Woo!
so what you're saying is we should ask for anything we want right now.
So no, what he's saying is we're all gonna fucking die.
I
So
raise my wine glass up to you right now. Woo!
Also, my beers.
yeah, so like I came back home. I'm like, oh geez, I haven't prepped anything, and I feel kind of funny. So we'll see what happens tonight. It'll be kind of fun. I texted John. Let's see where he is, and yeah,
Do you remember that thing you said I could have last time?
the what?
The thing you said I could have last time?
What did I say
Pretty
you could have
sure.
last time?
Don't worry about it. I'll
You,
just add to my sheet.
you
Right,
lying piece
just
of crap.
trust me on this one.
It'll be case
Oh,
fight version 2.0.
Oh, Midas, you do remember from last session how the Elf King came along and just literally cut Krieger's head off, right?
so John just texted me. He's in Europe right now. All right. He said he sent me a Discord message. Let me see what his Discord message says. He says, "Hey, Midas, just letting you know I'm in Europe right now, so I'm 8 hours ahead of you. By my calculations, that means I will be have to be online at 6 a.m. in the morning. Unfortunately, it does not work for me because I have 2 hours of class after we start, and normally we run longer than I know we normally run longer than that. Looks like I won't be able to play with the group for the next 4 months. What the hell?
What?
Oh, that's out of the blue.
4 months?
I mean, I feel
Whoa,
like he would
man.
have a bit of like, he would have a bit of a heads up if he was going to Europe for 4 months to do classes. I feel like he would know this beyond a week in advance. Just,
Like,
I don't know, to pack.
like
Holy cow.
I'm terrible at planning, but I can usually figure a 4 month trip to Europe out. At least two
Four
months
Oh
beforehand.
God.
months. Four
All right.
months.
Oh, that's what we were talking about. You said I can make myself another character. I'll make Daniel's twin brother,
Yeah, we
Mamos.
we didn't say any of that, but what do you want to do?
But we think you're
I'm tipsy. I'm
rescheduling
not
now?
drunk. I'm tipsy. I'm not drunk.
Whoa. All right, so just tell us when you keep drinking, then we'll start asking you.
I should go get myself more whiskey, shouldn't I?
Damus,
Probably too
Damus.
Yes,
honestly.
more.
I mean,
This is
what's
what
the
you have
worst
to
that's
name
gonna
your new
happen?
character.
I mean, if worse comes to worse, I can always just play Outwork too, because I mean, it's clicking like 6 buttons. It's called backing up 15 feet,
Oh
run
no, no,
forward
I was
15
wondering like
feet.
long term, like did we want to like change days or something or timings? I mean, for Europe?
I don't know. I'll work it out with him.
Okay.
I literally just found out because I don't really read my Discord
You just
direct
read
messages. Yeah. So like, what I'm thinking, like the first thing that pops into my mind is like, oh, someone's gonna die tonight.
it. Oh God.
All right, you guys are in the game, right?
Mhm.
We are. We
Well,
went in Starfinder for a bit, and we were very excited. We were like,
Yep.
"Oh, one shot Starfinder! Yay!"
I've heard Starfinder is fun. Is it fun? I've never played
I
it.
don't know. I just downloaded your campaign.
I run a campaign.
You run a
I,
Starfinder campaign?
yeah, I just destroyed the pack worlds in my last session on Sunday.
How hard are the rules? Are the Pathfinder rules to get into? Because it's Pathfinder in space, right?
Not really.
No, not really. Sort of.
Like the character sheet's a lot like Pathfinder. Like you have like the umpteen million skills, and you spend skill points like you do in
Yeah, yeah,
Pathfinder. I
billions of them.
suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the same. The classes are non-existent as far as comparing them. I mean, you have your traditional roles, but the classes are very different. But the game it's so much more open, being a sci-fi space game.
Uh,
Like the game, there was a game I played in for a while, and we were on this planet, and we were trying to figure out what happened to this person that got kidnapped,
mm-hmm.
and we managed to get the surveillance videos. So I called up some reporter and had them plant their faces all over every town, every monitor in the entire city.
Wait, you're the DM?
No, that wasn't the game I was playing in. The game I'm DMing in, it's pretty simple. The core worlds, like the pack worlds, is the basically the lore starter system.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I've seen
the
like there's some pretty cool classes and stuff, like the Technomancers and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah, it looks pretty
Technomancer is
cool.
really cool. Um, The Technomancer, the Solarian is like a cross between a paladin and the warlock that uses a weapon.
Uh-huh.
You have your straight up like cleric type class, but I can't remember what the hell it's called.
Alright.
What
But the
about
cool
Traveler?
thing is, oh, good.
No, what about Traveler? Like, have y'all? Is it?
Oh,
similar to this?
I'm starting. I'm gonna start one of those as soon as I can because it is the only tabletop game where your fucking character can die in character creation.
That's
In
the
character
part that
creation, that's
excited
awesome.
me.
Yeah.
That is
Sounds
the
pretty
part that
awesome.
excited me. I was
Because-
like, ooh.
Because the way it works is you create your character, you go through some stuff, and then you decide: do you want to join the war? Do you want to go to college? Do you want to join the military? You go through that part of the character creation. If you go through college, when you come out, you got to decide: do you want to join the corporate world or go into the military? When you're in the military, you can just go through it being a grunt, or you can go to the military college. And when you go through college, you actually make rules to see if you pass and how well you do. And so you go through that school, and then you go through the military career, you go through the corporate career, you go through the being a just average Joe person, right? And when you come out of that, you can choose to do it again. But every time you go through that cycle in your life, that part of your life, bad shit can happen to you. Like this one video I was watching, this dude, he got kicked out of the military in his first run because he discovered some guys in the military doing bad shit, and so and reported them, and so they had to get rid of him. So can't have people knowing bad things that happen in the military and stuff.
I saw the video on like Puffin Forest, and I was just like, this looks so cool. I was like, oh my god, I want to try this.
It looks
The
cool.
only-
Freaking Starfinder looks pretty cool.
The
So.
big problem with Starfinder and Fantasy Grounds is ship combat and the rule set being incomplete.
Is it a Fantasy Grounds problem or is it a Starfinder problem?
It's a Fantasy Grounds problem. Like ship combat is, I've modified it a lot in mine to make it more simple, but essentially you have your ship, enemy ships, but there's no initiative order.
Oh.
The pilot of all the ships roll a piloting check, and then you go from the lowest roll to the highest roll. You do all the ship's movement. Then you go to the next person in the ship, because the ships have pilots, so they have captains, they have gunners, they have engineers, they have science officers, and each of those roles has a position in the combat order where they can do stuff and a variety of different things they can do. And you can't put a ship on the combat tracker, so you have to do it all manually.
Sounds like it, yeah. All right.
It's
Well,
and but it's a hell of a lot of fun. My guys really love it.
well, it sounds like a cool system. Maybe one of these days I'm playing one. Like if you're playing a game, I'll be fun to be a player.
Hey, if you ever have a Sunday open, you could come be a guest once.
That'd be fun. What time you
Check
play?
it out. 6 to 10 Eastern.
3 to 7.
That's
Okay.
perfect.
I'll think about it. Elwin, you here? How's the internet where you're at? Pretty
Did you
It's
shoot
alright.
Elvin?
That's alright.
You heard that Albert's gonna be in Europe for 4 months.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's pretty interesting stuff. All right. We're gonna start this, and I honestly don't know what the hell's gonna happen, but we'll see what happens.
TPK, y'all, TPK.
Like I honestly do not know what the shit is gonna happen tonight.
I'm not even on the map. I'm like 500 feet up, and I
Well,
don't know where I am.
I
on
can
the map.
I can tell you I can reasonably surmise one of two things is going to happen. Either we're going to win this fight, because if we lose, the world's fucked. Because
Yeah,
we brought
world's
all
fucked.
those powerful rulers of the world to this fight, and if we lose, the world is fucked.
That'd be
There-
hysterical, though.
By the way,
Yeah, if the
I've had-
leaders of all the world's armies can't beat this guy, we're screwed.
I've had the recording going for like the last 15 minutes,
Nice.
maybe 10 minutes. So it's going live as it is, just so you know.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we
All
need
right.
more alcohol for this then.
Yeah, I should get more whiskey.
Oh.
All right, you guys should all get drinks, just so you know. Gail, you don't drink, right? You drink tea, right? You drink tea, or wait, you drink wine?
I'm drinking port wine. Port wine at the moment. I watched this video with Matthew Mercer, and he was drinking port wine, and I went, ooh, port, and I had to buy a bottle.
Port wine, interesting.
I grew up with it. It's one of those things. I'm like cheese, a platter of cheese, and then port wine. Oh, sugar.
Sounds
All
fun.
sugar.
That sounds fun. All right, James, what are you drinking right now?
Some beer that I made.
Oh, that's
You
right. You're a
made it?
brewer. Yeah, he's a brewer. He's got his own shops and stuff that he brews for. Like
Yep.
professional brewery. Is it
How
good,
did you
man?
make
Yeah.
this one?
Tell me
Yeah.
about it. What is it? Is it an IPA?
So this one is it's a double IPA, but it has
A double? Is it like
the
full on
standard,
hops?
like-
Is it like triple hops or some shit like that? Like
no.
what's
this
its
one's not,
IBUs?
so I make it. Well, actually, IBUs are weird. They don't actually really matter. It's a funny
Okay.
thing, but I think on the comparison, it should be about a 30 to 25.
Oh, that sounds nice.
It's all dry hopped, so you get less IBUs from it, but you still get like the citrusy flavors from it.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think right now we're ranked. I think we're actually pretty far up there. I just got invited to go to like Ireland and Germany for their beer fests.
That's wild, man. So it's an IPA. It's an IPA, but it's pale. It's pale for an IPA.
So it's more of like, think of it in between of like a standard like really hoppy IPA and also like one of those juicy ones. That's kind of like a big like wheat base to it. So
Okay.
it's really really hazy, but it's incredibly smooth. They're
Yeah, I
very
live
light.
in the Pacific Northwest, and there's like a brewery on every corner here, and like it's the freaking fashion out here to see how crazy you can get with your hops and stuff. Like people will
Yeah.
like over hop their beers, and then they'll like extract hop oil and put it in the beer on top, so it can just to raise the IBUs, and you know it's just sick. It's like undrinkable, but it's
Yeah,
just,
some of those are nasty.
it's the
What-
meta
what
out here,
is-
and I'm like whatever. I'd rather order like a Corona than drink this stuff.
Man, you know where Corona comes from, right?
Where
Which one?
It comes from a
Yeah.
warehouse where about 100 Mexicans stand in a line pissing in a barrel.
Really,
Hey,
really.
Elwin,
No, that
Elwin's
is-
Mexican.
that
Elwin's
is-
Mexican,
no.
just so you know. We found this
That is
out when
not-
I did
no.
my racist
No, that is not
chimichanga
racist.
maker in
That-
game.
That's not racist. It's not racist because Corona is made in Mexico.
In the U.S. The ones we drink is U.S.
Midas, where do you live?
Damon,
I
tell
live
him
in
what
Oregon.
It's like. Tell him where it's at.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Where at in Oregon?
Bend, Oregon.
Nice. I lived in
Where are you?
Oregon for 12 years.
Oh, cool. That's
I
a
lived
good
in
place.
Salem and Eugene.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And Elwin, you're only
Wait.
part Mexican, right? Elwin, his internet was
We
not
lost him. We lost him.
Yeah.
You cannot deny that piss foams like piss, and if I ever taste piss, it'll probably taste like
Elwin, what kind of beer do you drink?
If you pee and it looks like Corona,
Whatever they
and
sell
fizzes
at the
like
store.
Corona is probably a very bad idea.
Are you a beer drinker or are you a liquor drinker? What do you drink, Elwin?
I'm both. I
Yeah?
prefer beer.
That's cool. You drink Corona or do you drink like
Oh no,
I
I
am-
hate that shit.
microbrewery?
No, nothing like that.
Have you
Just
heard there's a
beer.
weed beer now? Like they've got like the oils from what do you call it? I forgot
Cannabis.
what it is.
So
Yes,
you-
and oh my god, it was
That sounds like an
So
Oregon
getting-
thing. You can get
Yeah.
high while you get drunk.
So getting drunk isn't enough anymore.
yes.
This is high drunk.
No, I remember I went to visit my brother for his graduation in Oregon the year before last, and it was right after they had started opening dispensaries in Oregon.
Yeah.
And so we went down there and bought, I don't even remember what the fuck I bought, but I bought some joint there. And this was the weirdest feeling in the world, sitting in my brother's living room with my dad, my sister, my brother, his soon-to-be wife, and my other sister, all passing around a joint.
Oh my god.
Well, it's yeah, it's legal out here. It's legal. All right. Let's get this going. So we are. Let's see. Where are we? Where the hell are we? All right. So previously on the GodBreaking, you guys are picking a fight with Krigajard. You went and try and track him down. You got distracted talking to his like human avatar, which is a big rock sticking out of the ground. And he talked for a while, and he was just like, it was basically a DM having fun, trying to see how long he could lead you guys on, while Krigajard wrecked the town that he was wrecking. And you guys eventually figured out that this was just a piece of stone that Krigajard had stuck up. It was talking to. So you guys went to the town, which was Sparthorn, the city of Sparthorn, in Taswan. Let's see, where's my maps? Where's my maps? Here's my maps. There. So you guys are in Taswan, kind of where the, I don't know, little arrows are pointing right there. At the little juncture right there, which is where Sparthorn is. And you found Krigajard was like basically about to bury the town in a mountain, just totally encapsulate it in stone that was pouring over the town like a big wave. You guys were evacuating people, and then Deimos, you were up there taunting him, talking about how you like wrecked his son, killed his son, and you pissed him off enough that Krigazard busts out of the ground.
Did I
his-
awaken his tail or something? Was the mountain like actually part of him? Or
No,
or
no, no.
was
He
it
was just
alive?
shoving up big pieces of
Oh,
earth
okay,
to
good.
bury the
Thank
ground.
God.
Yeah, it wasn't him.
Oh,
Yeah, but you were like in like elemental locust form and just like holding back the mountain. It's pretty badass what you guys were doing. So anyway, Krigazard busts out of the ground, this massive mountain of a dragon, a stone dragon, and he rages and roars. And you guys are scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. A couple of you guys took a couple pot shots at him, I think. Does he have any damage
no,
on
no,
him?
no. He was tapping his finger and we cued dick pics.
That's right. During that time, Albrecht was trying to, or someone was trying to phone people, and Elwyn like inserted dick pics in the Snapchat, and had various consequences all throughout the land as various NPCs that you guys know responded to the dick pics.
Including a fucking girlfriend. Oh my god.
Yeah, the girlfriend. Yeah, she showed up. She like completely naked, and when she realized who she was looking at, she tried to cover up real quick, but. Yeah, that
you
was an
also
awkward
sent them
moment.
to a child too.
Yes, to a young 12-year-old boy whose mother was pissed off about what you were doing. That
I mean,
might
when
have.
you're king, things happen, like accidental dick pics from sending stones. I mean,
Yeah, that army might be going home now.
I'm writing a note. I'm writing a note to myself. Consequences for dick pics to child.
the
For
mother
dick
was not
pics
happy.
to child. Mom calls human. What is it? Whatever it is. Department of Human Services or something. Whatever that's called.
It's CPS, Child Protective Services.
Child Protective Services. That's called. Child Protective Services. Okay, I'm writing that down. I typed
Well,
it
if
on
we're
my notes.
if we're near New York, she might call SVU.
So whoever they're gonna do the genetic testing and image comparison to find out whose dick it was, and that person's gonna be in trouble. Anyway, you guys are facing off against Krigazard. You take a couple shots at him, and then Adis, you had the brilliant idea to cast some kind of summon ally spell, and your various allies from around the continent begin to respond. So it was like, you got the dark elf chick, you got the dwarven hammer forger half god guy, you got the
We got the dragon. We got the dragon.
you got the storm sorcerer Goliath, you got the dragonborn, blue dragonborn of great power.
He had a knip shit fit.
Yeah,
He pissed all over. It was very unattractive.
pissed and
Yeah.
shit all over Adis in dragon form. You got, who else did you get? Shit.
Elven King, the king. Ooh.
Based on his bowel movement, I assume he's dead, so I get ready to throw him on top of Krigazard,
You got Antares.
who I asked to shoot those mage killers down there.
Uh-huh. That's right. And then you got, where's my picture? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Some lightning dude.
Lothrelian. There you go. These are the guys you got.
There was also someone else.
It was,
There was some
Thane's work.
Lightning,
Thayne's
the
work.
storm guy.
Yeah, the
Oh,
storm.
is that the Goliath?
Yeah, he's a Goliath. He's a chief of the Goliath clans
Darius?
of Rapnesh.
Darius?
Oh,
Yeah, I
Darius.
think
That's
I-
right. That's right. Yeah.
I think I asked the Goliath too to kill mage killers too.
You got Darius. There we go. Okay, so
I
it's
was-
7 people.
I didn't say anything, but hi to that dude. Because he's scary.
Which one? Which one's scary?
Darius.
Yeah,
He's the
yeah.
scariest of them all.
Well, he was that. That was. I only have one picture of him because I introduced him when he was under the influence of Ejek, the Lich. He's not quite so emo now. He's more Prince Charming than
He rides in on a
Like-
lightning storm.
He's
Dark
so
Spider-Man or
cool
whatever he is.
and dapper. Yes.
Okay, so that's what happened. They all blast into appearance. They're riding on the back of Adis. You are in your mini practinic form. So you look
Should be practimic. Yes.
so like that. Okay. That's what you look like. They're riding on your back. You're in your mini form though, because you're a mini Bractinic. And they zap into view, and they all say their catchphrases, whatever that were. And they are now joining the battle. They see this massive stone dragon, the size of a mountain, just ripping through the earth in front of you. And where he's raised up, it's kind of like overturned the city of Sparthorn. So you see buildings and people and stuff because he rose up from underneath the ground, just like falling off his back. People are on his back; they're just falling down to their deaths below. And like there's a couple buildings on his back still, but he is like in full-on massive end boss kind of form. Let's see, where were we on initiative? Adis, that was your turn. Elwyn, you were next on initiative. So, like, is there anything you want to do as you guys are standing here looking at this rock dragon?
Excuse you, none of us are standing. All of us are flying, or
That's right, you're all
others
flying.
plummeting to our doom.
You got wings. You got wings.
Actually, we're standing down the air.
I'll cast my Illercool's mantle.
Something mental. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is that?
What? What?
What is that? Illicure's Mountain. I'll link it for you guys. A luminous aura completely covers you and conforms the contours of your body. While this aura exists, you are resistant to being charmed or frightened, are resistant to lightning, and have advantage on all saving throws. Nice. You don't have a familiar, so that part does not apply to you. Okay. Advantage against frightening throws, saving throws, immune to frightened. Got it.
And I can't twin if it's self, right? I can't twin it and touch Deimos.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm as familiar though.
What is it? I mean,
mean,
you're right next to him. You're basically humping his leg. So what spell were you gonna do?
This one to twin it.
Oh, the same thing?
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah. What the
Davis
hell? Why
has
not? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, boy.
I like drunk Midas.
I thought James had the collar. I mean, don't you still have the collar on him?
Oh,
The
that is a
leash?
valid point.
Yeah.
Actually, I think
Yeah, this isn't concentration.
They use it in battle and also in the bedroom.
Alright, I'll put the stuff on you, Deimos.
These totally stacked, man.
All right. Let's see. I'll let you guys get a full dealio in.
Should I put it on Kyrgyzstan too?
Oh, do you remember the sending I did last week, Midas?
The message you sent?
Yeah,
Yeah, you messaged. Who did you message?
Kyrgyzstan.
That's right. All right. Okay, you're done with that. So you finish your turn, Elwyn. I'll let you guys all get a full round because the other guys just ported. And Deimos, you're up. What are you doing?
Oh shit.
And then Albrecht is next, but he's in
Shit.
Europe.
Oh,
And
Albert's
Renly.
actually in Europe.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, crap! I was not prepared.
Fork says, you know, I heard those Europeans. You know, they're very forward thinking, and they're like their male sexuality. So,
All right, I'm going to touch my backpack, Elwyn, and I'm gonna give him some stone skin. See if
Okay.
it does anything.
stone skin on Elwyn.
And yeah, I'll just do that as we get closer and start like chinny hugging this dude. So
Mhm.
we're gonna start doing some bad stuff as we start climbing into him.
Okay.
Just fly in his mouth.
I feel like Albrecht would hit things.
Yeah, Albrecht's gonna charge in, and he's gonna like attack Kyrgyzstan, and he's gonna say something like, I don't know. I see. I don't even know where
Perfect
Where-
stone for a dwarf to work on.
in Europe he is. So like,
Like which time zone?
Well,
yeah.
you said 8 hours, right?
That would
So
be like
he's
you-
got to either be in France or Britain because France
Yeah.
and Britain are 5 hours from me.
He said 8 hours ahead of you. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's like
UK.
Britain, right? UK.
Well, no,
Mhm.
France.
I feel
Mhm.
UK.
Yeah. I think
Okay,
some of France is in that same time zone.
so he's probably like, you know, I don't know, what would a British person say? I don't know.
Probably yell at a high pitched voice and talk about teas and crumpets.
You stay off my
Albert
crumpets.
Get a lot. They got
Does
a
he?
lot
Does
worse.
Albrecht smoke
The dwarf in real life, or in real life?
in real life? Does he smoke?
I have no idea.
No.
Well, he's gonna go and he's gonna do what Albrecht does. He's gonna start swinging a couple times. So as Albrecht is swinging at this dragon, you know, he swings 3 times. You see him smashing him, and chunks of rock are flying off of Kriegjar, you know, falling down, boulders and stuff crashing down below. It's like he's attacking a mountainside. So there's big explosions of stone and stuff like that. But Kriegjar's form is very large and very robust, is a good word for it. So as Albrecht is there talking about his teas and crumpets and smashing into Kriegjar with his dark sword, you do see evidence of damage, but it's like basically chipping away at a mountain. So yeah, there's that. Renly, you're up.
I feel like, despite being 525 feet up, that I'm probably about head level with him. Am I?
Yeah, easily. You might be a little bit above
Okay.
him. He's not quite that
Okay.
tall.
I'm going to like moonbeam him if I'm still within range and drop this on him, so that would be like 70-10 on his turn. But I'll pop that in like, you know, like that's my circle. I pop it on like, you know, somewhere in the middle. And then
Okay.
I wild shape into and what can I wild shape into? Oh crap, this is the bonus action wild shape. Okay, so barrel elemental, and I'll just start flying higher.
You're turning into an air elemental, and you're flying higher?
Yep.
You're not even on the map here. I'm going to put you at the very, very top of the map. Way up there.
I
Just
mean,
so we
I'm pretty
know
much dead weight at this point, so I'm
that
just
you're
like
up there.
Syndrome
Well,
go, moonbeam go, and done. Yeah.
I'm only like 100 feet below you. You just
I
come
think-
hanging out on me.
Alright, so you guys are way up there. I'm just putting on the map. This is not, you know, objects in the mirror are further than they appear. So this is like a, you know, like on the US map when they show the world, and then they have this little line over here, and they say Hawaii. That's like this.
Does Craig have a zit?
That little thing so you cast Moonbeam, right? And you roll your damages for that. And
Oh,
it's,
okay, sure. I thought
And
it
Syn-
happened on his turn.
oh, I don't know, whatever it is. I don't know what the spell does. and
That's
Sindrius goes off and fires off his blasts. Well, he's after Kriegjar's right after you. But you see that little zit thing that you drew on him? That's about the effect of the damage on him. Alright.
Renly's never been a fighter, man.
No. She's a... I don't
Tea
know what
drinker.
Renly is. Tea drinker. Okay, so after your turn, Renly, so everyone's got their turn. Adis, you just summoned everybody. It is time for the party to jump into action. The first things first. And Terry's Saber is the first one to act. He's also the fastest. He leaps off your back. Well, he wasn't really on your back, because as soon as he jumped through the portal, he was instantly like floating in the air or standing in the air right above your back on the tip of your wings. He dives off the end of your wing, and as he drops down to the ground, you're talking, how many feet were you up in the air, Adis?
Like 350, I think.
Yeah, 300. So you know, Kriegjar is like, you know, that's roughly in line with his head. And then Terry's Saber drops down. You see his eyes glow a dark, billowing black, and his smoky arm, his smoky left arm that was basically just ripped off of him in the previous battle with Shaylin, billows and plumes and grows in size, and it becomes this makeshift set of demon wings that are like attached to his back. And as you do, the thing that you see glowing and glistening in his right hand, his only good hand, is his firearm, his gun, drawn from its scabbard, drawn from its holster. It's grown in size. You know, it's half sword, half gun, and he uses this makeshift smoky set of wings that are attached to his back as some kind of like aerial leverage as he drives straight forward, thrusting his sword straight into Krigajard's face. So he takes his downward momentum and basically uses his wings to swoop himself forward into Krigajard's face. Yeah, Krigajard has wings. I don't know if he flies.
Oh my
Kinda fun.
god!
It'd be kind of fun if he flies. Okay, Krigajard just got a new ability.
Oh my
Krigajard just got a new ability.
god!
Final form, Krigajard will fly. You see his. Anyway, you see Antares' third tier legacy weapon just driving forth into Krigajard's face. The impact is massive. You see huge explosions of rock and cinder, and a large, house-sized piece of rock just chips off of his face and goes tumbling down to the ground, hundreds of feet below, as Antares' saber drives this massive gun sword into Krigajard's face. And the thing is, as he drives it in, once it's full, once the smoke clears, and you see Antares with his fist basically, and the sword just plunged hilt deep into Krigajard's face, and his black smoking demon wings flaring behind him, and like the smoke clears, and you see him just static right there, the sword driven into his face, his fist holding onto the sword, and embedded into Krigajard's face. Antares says something catchy, and then pulls the trigger on his gun. And deep inside Krigajard's head, as far as the sword has penetrated into, there's a massive explosion, like round 2, phase 2 of this attack, that goes on underneath the surface of Krigajard's head, and a large chunk goes flying off of his head as stone and all kinds of magma and stuff go flying to the ground. So that is
hit people
down on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this ground area. So if you're looking at the map here, where's my thing? So this was the town. Like this was the town of Sparthorn, right? Krigajard just rose up from underneath it. So there's people all over the place. There's people on his back that are falling off the edges.
So the pieces falling off him are definitely killing people.
Well, definitely there's people down below. Yeah, for sure. And there's people falling off Krigajard constantly. It's like 911 when you see people just like falling off out of the Empire State, out of the Twin Towers. There are people just falling off of Krigajard constantly because there's like hundreds of them on his back. Okay, so Krigajard takes massive damage as Antares shoves his sword deep into his face and then pulls a trigger and ignites an explosion inside Krigajard's head. It's big damage. I'm not gonna roll dice. I should roll dice. Die.
Did that go to where his brain should have been?
Wait. Are you roll a perception check?
His brain's
Okay.
probably a half a mile under the surface.
I know, right?
So that was Antares' attack. I don't even know that was into Krigajard's head. So
Wow.
you're just Renly, you're just seeing rocks and explosions and it's like attacking a mountain. How do you attack a mountain? I mean, he carved off a chunk of it, but like there's still lots of mountain left.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that was Antares. Let's see who acts next. Darius. Darius goes jumping off of your back next, Adis, and he lands on Krigajard's back. So kind of where the circle is. He lands up there with his legacy weapon, the Lex Divina is what it's called. And you see him summoning like the largest divine smites you've ever seen. Literal shockwaves of radiant energy are flowing through his body as he's pummeling into the back of Krigajard. He makes his way downward in this direction, actually charging in that direction, and starts attacking at the base between the wings and Krigajard's back. Let's see who else we got here. Thane's Vorik, he swoops off your back as a gust of wind picks him up. He flies up in the air 100 feet higher than you, and you see his eyes go dark. His hands start glowing electric blue as the clouds above you begin to thicken and gather up. And that's his turn. He's charging up his Kamehameha. Let's see who's next. Euphemia and Killdrag. Oh, wait. I forgot we already ended off last time. Okay, I'll pick up with that. Euphemia and Killdrag are locked in a defensive stance because the effects of Kriegerjard's last move, which was his breath attack, are now hitting you. This all kind of goes off concurrently. Let's see. Kriegerjard's breath weapon is acid damage.
Wait, that's weaker than Practinic? What?
Well, he just rolled crappy.
Oh, okay.
So this big billowing plume flies up through the air, just big gaseous. It's not like a breath or burst. It's more like like a fog machine. It just kind of billows out of his mouth and begins to encompass the air all in front of him and behind him. This is like the bad machine in Fern Gully, just billing pollution everywhere.
Is my
No.
whirling winds by chance keeping it away from me?
Whirling winds. Practinic has
Yeah.
whirling winds around, doesn't he?
Yeah, gale force winds that rage around him.
You know what? I think you're right. It does.
Woohoo!
Otherwise, I would be
people-
falling out of the sky right now.
The people like Sindrius and Quigley, the people directly in this area in front of him, get affected by it. The gale force winds, even though he ejects it from his mouth at decent velocity, Practinic's gale force winds, since it's not a direct flame attack or anything like that, it's more like a billowing kind of current of acid that fills the area. It does insulate you and everyone on your back from the damage. Sindrius takes that damage. Sindrius dies. Quigley,
Wait, Citrus
You
is
see-
immune to acid!
is he?
Yeah!
Oh, fire
Sindrius.
elementals are immune to acid?
Well, Citrus is.
Sindrius is
Oh, is she a special elemental?
Yes.
Oh,
He's the aspect of flame. The
Oh,
so Sindrius is
okay.
back on the map.
Whee!
All right, Sindrius is back.
And he's
Um,
bigger! Woo!
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. So as it hits Sindrius, his pure flame ignites it, and a lot of it begins to burn in the air around him. Quigley gets a full face of it. You see him begin to drop out of the air. His butterfly form just kind of like beginning to wilt, and he drifts downwards. That's about all that you see. Unfortunately for you, everyone on your back is Practinic is protected by your gale force winds, so none of them take full damage. All right. So who's next? Kildrak and Euphemia. Okay. Kildrak leans over, stands over to Euphemia and says, "Oi, it's time to put that new sword of yours to the test. Let's see how malleable she can be." Euphemia says something snarky and borderline racist, and they both move to your head. They run up to your head. Euphemia pulling out her sword, which is full transparent. It looks like it's made out of glass, and she holds it out in front of they're basically at the tip of your head. And Kildrak holds up his hammer to his chest, and he closes his eyes, and you can see him muttering and talking in some weird combination of dwarven and celestial, as his hammer begins to glow the purest radiant energy you've ever seen. And he ushers it forward, and you can see him transferring energy from his hammer to Euphemia's blade. And the blade itself begins to shift and change in the air, and all of a sudden it becomes larger. Twice, 4 times, 5 times, 8 times, 10 times, 20 times larger than the sword is, until Kildrak and Euphemia are standing at the tip of your head, Practinic, anchoring down this large, golden glowing spike, kind of jutting out from your head. Think of it like Super Dragon Unicorn.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That visual, I'm
down.
sorry.
I'm down.
Kildrak Killdrag says, like, this here beastie, he has many layers. His hide is deep. We need something that can pierce that hide. Okay, that's his turn. Who's next? Vork is sitting there on your back, having evacuated his bowels onto your back. He says, "Wait, this here encounters beyond my pay grade. I plan here to just sit here and shit myself. And when I run out of shit like I just have, fortunately I have with me a fanny pack of emergency rations to replenish my shit supplies. So I will be here, replenishing my shit supplies." And he nervous eating. He grabs and he shoves his hand into his backpack, and starts pulling out snacks and begins to eat them.
He's rage snacking.
He's rage
Stress
snacking.
snacking, yes.
Alright. Alright, Adis, your turn.
Alright. About how far away would you say I'm from Killdrag's forehead?
From Kildrak's forehead? Kildrak is on your forehead.
Or not.
Kriegashard?
Krigashar's forehead, sorry.
At least he didn't say Praktinik.
Yeah, call it 70 feet.
7 feet? Okay.
100 feet, 100 feet.
I want to try to.
I
100
think you
feet.
call it 100 feet. You're pretty far away.
I'll fly 40 feet close.
Okay.
I wanna try to pull this off. I wanna try to pull off some fanciness. I want to simultaneously cast Disintegrate to brand this fool, while simultaneously grabbing Vorik and throwing him on top of him.
Wait, you can cast spells as a dragon? That's awesome.
Yeah. You don't lose your, as long as the new form is capable of casting.
So wait, what are you doing? You're throwing, you're charging forward, and you're trying to brand him and throw Fork off your back.
I'm going to use Disintegrate to basically carve, because I'm going to try to carve the symbol of Mistra into his forehead while simultaneously throwing Vorik on top of him.
Okay, are you carving it with your unicorn horn?
No, with the Disintegrate.
Oh, okay.
I want it to stay.
All right, so you fly forward, so you and you just like Zaro, slash, carving a Z into the mountainside.
Yeah. I figure with 3 rays I could do it.
Yeah. You just
Dirt reps.
you start blasting Disintegrate and inscribing this insignia on his face. Now, I mean, Disintegrate is a pretty fast casting spell. You're not sure how well. Go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand check to see how good your penmanship is, as you carve this big symbol into. Oh, that's not bad. I'm googling right now. Symbol of Mistra. Oh, that's pretty cool. There's several. Which one is it in this world? It is this one. I've decided.
A star?
Yeah, the star one.
Woohoo!
I'm saving it to
Does he lose his nose?
folder. Does Kriegashard lose his nose?
Yes, because if it's smack dab in the middle, I'm that whole nose will fall off.
Can I get a bonus to my sleight of hand roll for foregoing attempting to do any real damage? I'm just trying to carve her symbol into his forehead.
It's just carving. You're not really going deep. You're just going
yeah,
for penmanship.
Just,
yeah,
just going for a brand.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm just gonna pick up some hot wings from downstairs.
Nice.
I'll just firebolt them and then quicken and then firebolt again.
You got time.
You got time.
All right.
I am. So this is the symbol of Misha that you try to carve into his face. All right. So you roll a dexterity check. All right. Yeah. We'll see what happens. So as hell yeah, I like that. You through your arcane arts are able to channel and focus the disintegrate spell in such a way that it zaps multiple times very quickly, right? And you guys can see a rough approximation. I mean, it's not anything super pretty. And if you were not already familiar with the symbol, you wouldn't necessarily recognize it. But that's kind of what it looks like, and just engraved, you know, about a foot deep into the stone of Krigazar's face, the symbol of Mistra. All right, what else are we doing?
Throwing Vorik on top of.
You're trying to buck Vorik off your back?
No, I'm gonna reach back and grab him and over my you know how you reach over your back?
Tail swipe him.
Reach over, grab him, and just overhit just hurl him on top of Cricket. This motherfucker shit on piss on me. He's getting off.
All right, so Vork goes flying across. Do I have a Vork icon? I think I have a Vork icon.
And then that was 40 of my movement, and then I will fly 80 feet back away from Krigajar. So I'll be 140 away from him.
Okay, so you throw Vork kind of in the same direction as Krigajar's mouth. So Vork goes flying through space. As soon as that happens...
As he's flying, I'm like, that's what you get for shitting on me. I say in Draconic.
All the snacks! No!
They were in a lap sack. They're not going anywhere. They're attached to him. You can take them with him.
Alright. As you toss Vork off your back towards Krigajard, and you flare your massive dragon wings out, well, they're not too massive. You're after a mini version of Practinic. Your moderately large dragon wings, and begin to retreat off into the distance. You feel a heat begin to build on your back, and as you flap your wings in the air, you feel a distinct, very heavy pressure on your back. It's as if something is resisting your backwards movement, right? And the rest of you guys, you can see on your back, on Practinic's back, focused on a small area where he's standing, an aura of flame, like they're basically like phoenix wings, appearing behind King Lothlorien, and his wings are flared out. They're kind of counteracting the effect of your wings as you're trying to pull back, just like the contrast.
Do I notice it enough to be able to look back and see, oh, it's him, and then stop?
I mean, yeah. So as
I
you
don't
feel
wanna,
the heat and the pressure,
I don't want to fuck up whatever he's doing.
as you feel the heat and the pressure build from behind you, you realize what's happening. And he says to you, "Friend Dragon," he says, "our coordinated effort is necessary to pierce the hide of this dragon. Lend your form to me."
Ooh.
Sure.
Okay, and you see him focus his hands on his staff, and his own phoenix wings flare out wide behind you. Not flapping like a bird, but just more like they expand in size, almost like a solar sail. Just a huge circumference, 3 times larger than you are. This big flame barrier of almost made of pure light behind him. And his own form, you can see his legs planted on your back, but they are reinforced by what look like magical arcane foundations of like almost phoenix talons. They look like arcane phoenix talons just clutched onto your back. And even though the sky is darkening because of Thane's Vorig's concentration, there is a small pinprick that sears its way through the clouds, where the sun comes blazing through, and suddenly it burns through the cloud cover from the northwesterly direction. So if you're looking at the map, it's here, just pointing in this direction, right? A beam of light comes piercing through the clouds, and it hits full on the sail that King Lothlorien has formed up behind you. And you find your whole body being propelled forward at an extremely rapid rate. Just like surging forward slamming face forward straight into Praktinic. And at the front of your head, Kildrak is there. And as you go hurtling into Krigajard, the divine harpoon, the divine lance that he and Euphemia have made in front of you, just takes over the whole front, so a whole frontal form of you. So it's kind of like, how do I describe this? Map.
It's like the Dragon Riders from Dragonlance.
I don't know Dragonlance.
No,
I don't know what they do.
it's like I'm flying in with a lance on my back and just impaled his ass with it. Except they're on
It's
my
kind of like that, yeah. Yeah. So like, you know, here's this. So if you are a dragon here, you know, here's your dragon form, and here's your mouth, caw caw, and here's your
You're a
this is your
crow.
back. Right. So here's your dragon form, right? So Kildrak and Euphemia are standing right here, right? And they have the dragon lance that's kind of pointing out in front of you, like this, right? And on your back here is King Lothrelian, and he's created a big solar sail behind you like this, and the sun has pierced through the clouds like this. The sun has pierced through the clouds and is shoving you forward, right? And as you go forward, you can see Kildrak just slam his hammer into the big divine lance that is in front of you, and it hardens in front of you like this, and you find yourself hurtling forward at an alarmingly fast speed. Imagine like the full speed of light just hitting the solar sails and imparting so much velocity to you that you go hurtling forward into Krigajard's face.
Dragon torpedo.
Yeah, dragon torpedo. Okay, so what happens is there's this big explosion. Everyone goes flying off. Deimos and Elwyn go flying away. Sindris goes flying away. Somewhere in the mix, you guys see the body of Vork just go hurtling off into space, kind of like Team Rocket style from Pokemon. And the whole frontal section of Krigajard's face just implodes under the might of this massive blow. So, like, this whole chunk of his head just gets sheared straight off. It just collapses in front of you.
So my
And
art's
massive.
gone.
What?
So my art is gone.
Yeah, it's destroyed. The massive boulders and stuff go pummeling down to the ground, just collapsing down to the ground.
I look down. Are there lots of people dying from it?
Well, I mean, they died from the fall, and the people down below.
No,
I mean,
because the army that was running away and all the people that were running away should be like underneath him. So
you know, a lot of them had gotten away, but there were significant numbers of people underneath Praktinic, underneath Krigajard anyway. So you know, we're talking dozens and dozens of casualties. Maybe not, definitely not in the thousands. You know, you might be close to approaching 100, but that's kind of numbers you're seeing.
I just grin every time I see one of them get squished by a rock.
Okay. I like whoever was helping me with my art. Prack Bullet.
I'm sorry. Leave
Was that you?
for the win. Yes.
Oh, I like that. I like that. That's good. Okay.
Black bullet, I like it too.
Okay. So that was them. On Krigajard's turn, he is furious. What you guys see is that as basically the hillside that was his face just gets crumpled in, collapsing and falling down to the ground. Behind it is just stone, and deep down, throbbing within, you can see two dull orbs of green light, like his eyes, basically down deep within the surface of the stone. What you realize is that Praktinic has raised around himself a very, very thick shell of pure stone that animates and moves according to his will. So that's kind of what you're. Or I mean, Krigajard. Shit. Sorry. Krigajard has
We've infected you.
Yeah. Has raised around himself this very thick shell of rock. and you guys are just are breaking through this this form. So that's that. On his turn, he is not happy. Okay.
Yeah, at least he doesn't have a mouth anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't have a mouth to talk anymore, but you do hear the throbbing, deep guttural rage. It's like a hill, like a rock slide of. That's what it sounds like. The deep sound of boulders scraping against each other as his rage pours out. The massive dragon begins to act. He raises a powerful claw and just swipes it through the air in this direction. Just, many of you try to dive out of the way. So let's say Deimos, Elwyn, Albric, and Krigajar are going to make dexterity saving throws to try to dive out of the way. Fails.
Actually, since I have Al on my back and he's not here, we're just gonna shield for this turn.
Okay. 2v shield. Albric. Albric dexterity saving throw. He has a really high dexterity saving throw.
Impressive for a dwarf.
Oh, he natural 20s it.
Ooh.
And Quigley. Is gonna eat it in the face. Okay, so Deimos and Elwyn, you guys go full bubble form as a radiant ball of energy surrounds you. You feel this mountainside smash into you, and you guys go flying like a ping pong ball off in this direction. You guys slam into the ground over here. Actually, let me think about that. Your divine form is pretty immune to all damage and attacks. Alright, correction, retcon. You guys are sitting here, and as it swipes through you first, you guys stay static, and the mountain just erupts around you, and you guys blast a hole in his claw as he swipes full force through you. So there's a very large hole in his claw where you guys were. And shards of rock go flying off,
Nice.
but you guys stay right there.
Cool.
Albric definitely darts away. He does take half damage. Quigley takes the full brunt of damage. Which damage was it this one? So Albric takes half this. 200 and some change. Quigley takes full damage. As he goes flying to the floor, Quigley is almost dead. Boom! Just slams into the ground. He's the one who craters into the ground. Okay. That was Krigajar's first attack. And then he is going to raise these so these wings on his back, they're not really, they don't seem very functional right now. They're like vestigial almost. Remnants of his prior form. They're small compared to his full size. But he does crackle them in the air, and he begins to flap them a little bit, and you see rock shards begin to fly forward. He just waves them and flaps them in the air, and this whole area gets sprayed with rock debris. Now, fortunately for you, Adis and everyone else, you are buried into his face, so you can't really get hit by it. Deimos and Elwyn, you guys are immune to it. I guess it's just Sindrius and Albric who are affected by it.
No. Okay.
Sindrius. Have Sindrius roll AT12. Oh, he gets hit by everything, by lots. Yeah, so we're talking. Huh?
I was gonna ask a question.
Yeah.
If Sindrius is like a fire elemental, would projectile stone even hurt him?
He's resistant, but he's not immune to, unless it's non-magical.
Okay. No, I was just curious because a non-fluid form. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's some physicality to him. I mean, he get like these
there is?
rocks.
Okay.
They become blasting through him. There has to be some kind of core to him. Let's see. So 25 times 11 is 250. 275 damage to him. He's resistant, so he takes half that. 137, something like that. And then Albrecht takes half. Okay. As he goes like fluttering out of the sky, Quigley's down on the ground, and you just see rocks, just debris, just come blasting down, creating these large craters in the ground around where he is. You're not exactly sure what happens to Quigley. Okay. So, Kierkegaard is minus his head, so he cannot bite. He's already done his wing attack. He's done his claw attack. Arguable, he has not recharged his breath. Nope, he has not recharged his breath. So,
If
I
he
guess all he
doesn't
has
have a
is-
throat, like if he doesn't have a head, like do we see like a throat there?
Yes.
Oh.
There's various cameras and stuff where the flame was passing through, where his eyesight was passing through, that kind of thing. But
I'm
you basically
not
just ripped
dungeon
through
crawling a dragon.
his external shell. He is going to raise his rock tail and just have it come pummeling down. So it's on the other side of him. It just comes pummeling down in this direction here. It's like boom, this way, just whips all the way around from behind him and just comes smashing down on the ground. You do see that everyone on the ground that was in that that area, whatever chance they had at surviving, is gone. Albrecht takes more damage. Sindrius is blasted far backwards because of the impact. The rest of you guys are very fortunate because you are not within his immediate zone of attack. Okay, that's it for him. Adis, alright, Adis, you went already. Elwyn, your turn.
I think this is the first combat I haven't went down in the first round.
Alright, so I'll cast that spell.
Larrow's Invisible Blade.
So here's the attack.
Hits.
Ooh, that's some good damage. And I'm gonna quicken a firebolt. One, two, three. Nice.
Okay. Did it?
Yeah, that's my turn.
So Ellen, what you notice as you guys see what's happening, as the other party has basically sheared off the face of Kierkegaard. You're gathering that his actual form is smaller, buried deep within this rock layer. It looks like this whole rock external exoskeleton is what he's built up around himself. It's not his real form. So
Okay,
as you blast deep, your pinpoint damage it penetrates super deep your lance or whatever it's called. Invisible blade. It just goes penetrating deep, and you see a small, maybe 1 foot wide, 1 foot diameter hole just punch through the rock deep into his core, into his form, right there at his neck where you guys are sitting, and you fire blast into the area to burrow even deeper, and it kind of explodes out the hole a little bit more. So you're looking at about a 1.5 foot diameter hole that penetrates deep into Kierkegaard. You're guessing, like 15 or like 20-25 feet deep into that neck area where you guys are looking right now. Okay.
Sweet.
Let's see here. Let's see. Did Renly go yet? Damus, your turn.
All right. Quick question on this. So since Damus is Super Saiyan 2, and I got a god on my black, would I be able to, hypothetically, let's say if I cast at level 9, would I be able to punch this guy super duper cool with an earthquake punch? Since we
Yeah, what are you trying to do?
Well, so I'm trying to like hit it. We're figuring like all this like earth shit around him is not actually his real body. It's like the stone stuff he got around him. Just kind of
Uh-huh.
crush it and just start like shifting around, breaking it apart. Because he's getting attacked from the front, so he's probably had a very hard time holding all this together. Got to shatter
Okay,
all
so-
off of him.
Yeah. So you see that Elwyn has created in front of you a very deep crack in his exoskeleton at the neck area. You can try to direct your damage right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So would this be like the earthquake spell punch, or like I don't know how this would work?
Yeah. So you have the earthquake spell learned.
Yeah. So it's level 8, but I'm assuming I'd probably cast level 9, but I'm super dangerous level 2. so
Let's see
it's
what
super-
the earthquake says. It says you create seismic disturbance at a point on the ground that you can see within range, like his neck. An intense tremor rips through the ground in a 100-foot radius circle centered on that point and shakes the creature and structures in contact with the ground in that area. Becomes difficult terrain when you cast the spell. Okay, so fissures open up through the spell's area. They go 1d6, 1d10 by 10 foot deep. Okay,
Would I think
So-
that would do anything if I did that though?
absolutely.
All right, then yeah, definitely do that.
All right, so burn it at 9th level. Roll a d10 for me.
Oh, okay. Get that one.
Okay.
I'll go
Um,
for the middle.
And then go ahead and roll your unarmed damage, but crit it. Just hold on shift when you roll it. Okay. So what basically happens is as Krieger's attack finishes, the bubble around you guys fades. You guys are still kind of flying there because of your wings. You see Elwyn focus a pinpoint blast. An invisible blade goes flying out in front of him and punches deep into the stone. And following behind it is a burst of flame that like sears it even deeper. You recognize that in this stony layer around him, that this fault line that's been driven deep into Krieger's form might act as a point of weakness, and you cast Earthquake. You cast the Earthquake spell, but you want to drive it as deep as you can. So you take your fist and you just basically shove it into that area where his hole was, where the hole is, and channel Earthquake through it. And by forcing the Earthquake spell deep into his body, you can see it have massive cataclysmic effect. This whole area right here around that point where you guys impact him breaks off and begins to fall down, sliding down in front of you. Now remember, this is not to scale. You guys are actually quite a bit smaller than the images of yourselves there.
Mhm.
I mean, like the town, like the highest buildings in the town didn't even touch his underbelly. So he's towering quite a bit above the town. So you guys just slam into this area, and this whole thing just becomes a mountain slide, a rock slide, and just pouring down. And underneath, as these layers of stone fall away, you see the distinct form of a deep down underneath, a small patch of what looks like dark blackish brownish dragon scale deep beneath the surface of the rock.
And with the rest of my movement, carrying Elwyn up, we're gonna get near the top-ish of this hole.
Okay.
More for a cool dive bomb next.
Okay. Cool. All right, Renly, you're up.
Alrighty. I am going to. I don't know if this would actually work. Oh well, I'll give it a try. I am going to try to dive bomb sort of till when I'm in range, and I would like to actually cast dispel magic in the area around the dragon body to kind of like cut the connection between him and this bigger form.
Okay.
To break the connection so that they can get to him easier without him being able to pull this bigger form around him to protect himself.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'll just be trying to dispel magic that connection area.
Which side? In the front, in the big area that they caved in his face, or at his neck area where Elwyn and Deimos are working?
The area where where they see the scales and stuff, because basically the throat area is where he's at, right? Like
Yes.
around there. Yeah, so
That's where
that's
Deimos and
where.
Elwin are. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I basically like sort of like just stop flying kind of thing, like just fall downwards, and then when I get within range, like 150 feet, I'll do dispel magic on that area over there.
Okay. So you begin to drift over in this direction. I guess you were kind of like up here, and you begin to fall in this direction. Kind of when you reach this area here, you can see what Deimos and Elwin are seeing. So what do you do?
And I will cast dispel magic on that just to like turn it back into just rock rather than awakened rock or whatever this magical body is. And so I don't know if I need to roll for that or something, but yeah.
Roll a wisdom check.
Alrighty. 3. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I totally thought it was going to be a 3. And that is my turn.
Okay. As you're falling down from the sky, you just kind of release your your hold on the air current that your air elemental form was holding onto, and just let yourself drop down. I guess you're in air elemental form or something, whatever you were.
Mhm.
And you begin to channel dispel magic, looking for a key point of weakness in this superstructure that Krikazrad has erected around himself. As it's falling down, you do recognize very ancient, and it's not really arcane magic. It's like innate abilities that Krikazrad has harnessed that are magical in nature, that has attracted this rock around him and animated it around him. And falling down from there, you being such an ally to Earth elementals, having spent so much time on the elemental plane of Earth, you got you recognize some of the magicry that has happened here. You've seen living stone before, and a note of inspiration just kind of goes off in your mind as you see what's happening here. You realize what Krikazrad has done and how he's done it, and you change the dispel magic spell as you release it. You alter it slightly to be more effective, to almost attain the resonant frequency that Krikazrad is holding all this rock around him to, and you release it into that same area where Elwin and Deimos were focusing on. And you hear Krikazrad roar
Oh boy. Okay.
as his go on.
I get more point wide.
No, as his form is being his dragon form is being ripped away. His stone form is being ripped away around him. Okay. Large swaths now. So that you guys, you got the Practinic and the rest of you broke through his facial structure, was the heavily armored structure, by force. Elwin and Deimos, you drilled a hole deep and then effected an earthquake spell down there, to weaken the structure at its deep roots. Renly, you recognize the whole framework of it all, and began to dismantle it from an arcane level. So you guys are basically ripping away at Krikazrad's superstructure. This whole area right here around his head is being ripped away, and what you guys see as a result, grab my, where did I put it?
He's got to get the mini me picture.
I don't know where I saved it. 1 second, please. I guess it's the only version of it that's out there. Say what? I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
Is it my super connection?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Is there just
You sound like robot to me. Do I sound like? Is my internet going? What's happening here? Can you guys hear me?
A robot.
Oh my shit, crazy.
Oh, Discord must be having a conniption right now.
There we go.
Sounds better.
Okay.
Much better.
Oh, that was everybody. Okay, I thought it was the shitty internet connection. Here.
Yeah, it was
my
happening to me
ping-
too.
Yeah, my ping jumped up to like 400.
Why can I not edit this image?
Because you don't have
Well.
Photoshop.
I do have Photoshop. It's just not actually opening this file. Weirdness. Okay. Maybe a different picture then.
Maybe he'll be even smaller.
This game with this error. Could not complete your request because the file format module cannot parse the file. Super weird. Okay, it's time to get creative.
Deimos. I love that your character on the combat tracker has like a page of text under it.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
That's the most of that's from when you do your Super Saiyan mode thing, right?
Yes.
Does he get more hit points when he does that too?
No, he gets more actions, and
Oh,
speed.
Oh no, it's Albrecht. He gets more HP because he goes all like colossal big, right?
That's right. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Almost done here.
We're good. I've drawn him. It's fine.
I told you that I was like at my friend's house all night, or at my kid's friend's house all night. So I didn't do any of this stuff ahead of time.
Oh no.
So all this shit is being made up on the spot, of course, which is nothing unusual. Alright. So, what you guys see, I will... This is low res, because I could not see the actual file. But, underneath his external rocky layer, you just see the head of this being ripped out, but this is, obviously very large, so this is not to scale. But kind of underneath, this is what it looks like. It's the withered away remnants of what a dragon's full form would have been. It's like basically just his bone structure with dried up flesh just kind of hanging around it still. But his head area here is kind of what you see after. On this picture, you rip away all the stone and everything. Does it make sense?
Yes, we've got the important part. We just ripped the head off now. Good.
Okay. So that's what you see. That was Renly. It is everybody else's turn. Okay. Euphemia turns to you and says, well, she begins to sing a song of inspiration and gives all you guys her version of bardic inspiration, which is a D20 bardic or combat bard or College of Valor bard inspiration. So it can be used for attacks, saves, checks, AC, and damage rolls. You get a D20. Okay. And in the air, Thane's Vorik, you see him now rippling with lightning energy as he's kind of floating in the air, pulling it all together, right? And he shouts out, "Time to strike Hell's blow upon this beast." and a crackle of lightning goes shattering down into that empty spot where Kriegerjard's true form is, and you can see the body of this stone dragon just electrify as the current goes rippling down his scales of the form beneath, and you can see it, it shocked through the earth itself, and just rippling down to the ground. His form shakes and shudders slightly as a result of Thane's Vorix attack. Okay. And having released the divine lance that he had crafted from Euphemia's sword, Kildrak pauses, and he leans down. He's right by your head, Praktinic, or Adis, and he leans down to your head, and he says, "What do you aim to do with this beast? Are we slaying it?"
Can you give me 10 seconds?
Yeah.
No,
What happens in 10
that's my response. No, that's my response to him,
He
to
says-
his question.
He says, "Aye."
Because it's not my turn yet, right?
Correct. Well, I mean, like,
Yeah.
that's what he wants to know.
I'm about to find out if you give me like 8 seconds.
Okay. He says, "Aye," and he looks around you at Euphemia and Lothrelian and Antares, and he says, "Friends, he says, give us a moment of respite. A breath we shall take." And you can see him focus his energy, his mind through his hammer, and all of you, including you, Praktinic or Adis, begin to have a light glowing sheen of golden radiant energy around you. You guys have seen this before. The last time you saw it was when Korgoth, the Demon Lord, when Praktinic, the actual Praktinic, unleashed his final breath weapon again around you all, and Euphemia challenged Kildrak's blessing through all around you and shielded you from damage. Deimos is a modified version of your bubble. It's divine in nature. It doesn't quite have the full kind of immuning abilities that your bubble does, but it is a huge damage dampener that Kildrak is casting and maintaining its concentration spell around the whole party that is sitting on Adis's back. Alright. On Kriegerjard's turn, the dragon roars, and as he roars, the entire earth beneath him begins to shake, and you can feel, you guys can see stone beginning to flow up his massive legs, being ripped away from the core of the earth itself, and just begin to flow up his legs as the stone underneath his feet begins to animate. And as it goes up his legs, you can see the wound, the big gap that you've created around his small skeletal head starts to to regrow itself as the earth itself is lending its material to his cause. He's also going to cast Earthquake. So, you guys are all in the air. So you see the ground beneath you beginning to rip and tear, unlike anything you've seen before. But more importantly, what happens is that the part of his form that you guys are near to begins to shake and ripple as well, just like the earth beneath him. The pure vibration and force, the tectonic force that is being channeled through his body is jarring. The air around you begins to buffet and swirl. So let's see. Elwyn and
Was this a spell you said he cast?
No. This is
No?
his.
Okay.
This is just his pure strength. His pure elemental earth strength. Elwyn and Deimos, you guys are floating near him, but your bubble is gone. Likewise, Renly, you are sitting there near him. Albric is down lower, but he is also affected by it. So all four of you, roll a. This will be a strength saving throw. And Adis, you do the same thing, but you do it with advantage.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Oh, I'm going to use my boon of Bithindor for an added d12. Ugh.
And
Okay.
It's a saving throw, you said, right?
Correct, saving throw. Now, Renly, you also have Euphemia's bardic. You guys all have bardic inspiration as well. Euphemia's bardic inspiration.
That 12 or
It's a
20?
D20. She has a D20,
Okay.
yeah.
Do I have that?
Yeah.
That just adds a d20 to the roll?
Yep. You can use it once.
I'll take
Mhm.
that 38. If that fails, then, well,
No, you guys got 20. Elwyn, 8. Saving throw. Strength saving was plus 17, so 25. Okay. Adis, you had an 18 plus 20, 38. Deimos, you natural 20'd it. Renly, you had a 14 plus 17. So that's a 31. Okay, so you guys are all in the 30s. Okay. As this happens, you guys see that the multiple layers of enchantment that you guys have floating around you. It's a combination of, Killdrack's shield, his barrier that he's raised. Euphemia's bardic inspiration, just kind of resting upon all of you. Adis, you're channeling the strength of your dragon form, and Renly, you're stacking on top of yourself. The boon from Befinzor on top of Euphemia's bardic inspiration. So it's for everybody. It's you guys feel the multiple layers of defenses that you guys have around you, and the shockwaves buffet and kind of ripple outward. But you guys are spared from the brunt of it. So this is halved for you all, and this would be force damage.
Oh, no. I'm assuming it's magical, right?
Well, it's force damage, which is magical in nature. Let's see what happens here.
250. So 160 back in my own form. But then I have my Bruce shielding, so halved.
Okay.
80 damage, okay.
My Death Lord kicks in.
Okay.
I have no resistance to that, so I take the 250.
Okay. To your Bractinic form, right?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, that should do it. Alright, that was Krigajard. That's his tectonic shatter attack, as it just kind of vibrates out from him.
That was impressive.
And you can see his form begin to regrow itself, the earth form around him. Let's see here real quick. He does not recharge his breath. Okay, Ada's your turn.
Midas, can I cast Sending at 5th level to get 12 extra words?
Sure.
Okay, I'm casting Sending and sending this to Kriegshire.
Okay. You send that message deep into the stone form below. Roll a perception check.
Okay. Let's see, perception.
Okay. As the stone is beginning to reform around him, you see him hesitate slightly deep within the vibrations. So there's a lot of vibration, a lot of force in this area right now. You know, like the rocks around you on the ground are splitting. There's large chasms that are being ripped open in the ground and the earth around you, just from the sheer force of energy that's being struck in this battle. It's truly primal in nature. It's truly tectonic in its power. This great dragon and the force that all you guys and your allies are bringing to bear against him is earth shaking. You do see in the middle of all that vibration a brief second of hesitance before his form hardens and the vibration continues at full force.
I look over my shoulder at what's his dwarf dude and say, "Oh wait, I'll wait to see if there's a response." Because he can mentally respond back.
Yeah, and what you know is because you were there with when you guys fought Shaylin. There's only so much that they can do when they're in the thrall of Tiamat.
But he did hesitate.
Yeah, there's a brief hesitation underneath there.
I look over at the dwarf and tell him to subdue the dragon.
Okay. Killdrag stands above your back, and he says, "Oi, subdue the dragon we shall." And he turns to Euphemia and to Lethrelian and to Antares around you all, and to Thane's Vork in the sky. He says, "Our task has changed." He says, "We are not here to slay the beast. We are here to bring it low." Antares in the air, high above you, having detached himself from Krikajard's face, says, holding his gun sword in front of him, says, "A decidedly less enjoyable finish. But if that's what we must do." And then his turn. You see him take a blazing red shell from his belt and insert it into his gun sword's chamber, point it at Krikajard, and release a huge bombardment like a cluster bomb all across Krikajard's back. He says, "Then we'll break him." And these explosions go rippling down all across Krikajard's form, across his back. Huge chunks of stone go flying off. Krikajard arches his back and roars in pain. At that same moment, King Lothrelian focuses the light of the sun that's still cutting through the opening in the clouds, and the wings fold up and join together, and then they pull in until they form a single beam, like a concentrated beam, and you can see at the base of your back of Fractinic that beam is lined up exactly with King Lothrelian's staff. And then he says, "Then the light of the sun, the full force of the solar power that flows through my staff, says, I break thee, dragon of stone." And he courses the pure focused sunlight down into Krikajard's core. You can see the dragon now, this form, inside Krikajard, begin to glow and illuminate and roar as bits of light begin to break through creases in the rock all throughout Krikajard's body. Alright, Elwyn, you're up.
Alright, so my sword keeps attacking.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know it kept going. So it keeps punching deeper. Oh wow. That thing stays up.
Yeah, it can move 50
Non-concentration.
feet. It can move 50 feet around.
Yep.
That sword's insane.
It's awesome. It's like
So-
a spiritual weapon.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
nice.
much.
So
It's like
basically what you guys are go on. So basically what you're seeing on Krikajard is little bits of light are beginning to break out from all like different spots on his body, as his inner core is being illuminated, and cracks on his body as Lothrelian is blazing this beam of pure sunlight into the opening that you guys have created. So there's light beginning to shine out from all the various cracks and crags.
Then I'll try
Definitely
to
in the
fire.
area where the hole that you open up is one of the larger ones, Elwyn. So
Mhm.
there's blazing light in front of you as Lothrelian has blasted light in. Okay,
All right,
go
I'll
on.
send some firebolts into that area.
His
Okay.
sword is like that little tech ball from that sci-fi show. I
hits.
can't remember what it is. That once you throw it, it continues moving at that velocity, and nothing it hits will slow it down.
I don't know what that is.
And then I'll quicken another firebolt.
Okay.
I have an idea.
That was a good turn.
Yeah. By now, like so deep, and so it's even more effective because deep down in his core, you have an avenue directly to his form, and you're blazing in this fire energy, and your spectral sword, your invisible sword, is lancing through the stone itself. You can see the overall form of Kriegjard beginning to break and to weaken. All right.
Hey Deimos, your
That
thing
brings
you roll to get back
it's
spell
Deimos'
slots.
turn.
Can you do that? Can you do that to someone else?
Yeah.
It's Deimos'
If you
turn.
can, Deimos, if you can do that and roll a 9 and give it to me, I can probably.
You're
I
too
might be
far
able
away.
to. Oh, am I? Okay.
Yep.
I'm like all up in this dude's grill.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
You are right where his face used to be. All right,
Yeah.
Deimos, what are you doing?
Deimos. I want to ask you. So I'm assuming this guy is totally under control of Tiamat's. He's totally my brohammer. Is there any way I think if I shove a bunch of this like radiant energy from my shield, it can like partially, somewhat, at least interrupt, if not, well, probably interrupt these bonds between Tiamat probably being a jerkwad and trying to control him, like all this like healing radiant stuff, just like kind of healing punch him, be like.
Okay, so roll me both a medicine check and a wisdom check. So wait,
We did
is
pull it
medicine
off
wisdom?
once.
Oh wow.
Uh,
Okay, actually, roll me
yes.
not a wisdom check. Roll me a arcana check with the second roll.
Oh, Arcana. Oh, what's Arcana stuff?
Actually, what's your religion modifier?
Religion at +9.
Plus 9, 11, 31, 19. Okay, I'll say it was a religion check instead. Okay. So, having seen Shaylin and Practinic in action, you're working with the understanding that Tiamat's hold on them is very much of domination of mind, and that somehow, and that you've seen them act in such a way that it seems like their understanding of what they're supposed to do updates. It's a constant stream. It's not like she gave them a command and they go out and try to fulfill it. She's actually actively dominating them, and sometimes they'll change course, or they'll act differently on a whim, as if she's working through their minds. You know that there must be a point of contact, a point of a focus of her energy, and that you think that if you could sever that point, or at least interrupt some of that consciousness, basically their consciousness, you would probably be able to interrupt, or at least disturb Tiamat's control over them.
All right. Well, in that case, then I remember like the chain thing is coming down for him, which is like dog collaring these bad boys up. I'm gonna use my movement because I got super fast movement right now to go to like that neck area.
Yep.
Bonus action, I'm gonna activate my shield because it's super cool like that, and I'll use I guess one of my attacks, but also another attacky type of thing to slam my shield back into the back of this dude's neck. Totally like a bad cat, bad dog, pick it up by the neck, slam that shit down there, and be like, T-Mite, you're a jerk. And I'll be like, Cray, come back to me, boy.
All right, roll. So you're double hasted. So how many attacks do you have?
Wait. Right now I have 3.
Yeah. So roll all 3 attacks and damages.
All right. I should probably target. I'm sorry. I had back target.
That's fine.
No, I missed that.
Okay. Oh, you also have Euphemia's thing.
Yeah, I'll use that on that for whatever.
Yeah,
Yes,
that makes it a hit. Because that's right, his AC. Okay. So you make
I don't
you
know.
and you fly you flap your wings and fly up over to the base of his neck, and there is like I said, cracks of light that's breaking out from the stone underneath him, as Lothrelian is continuing to pump solar energy into Krikazhar's form. You take your shield and you begin to crash through the rock that's there. Fortunately, you find a light source where the rock, there's a joint, a seam between pieces of rock that was weak, and you break it open with your first attack. You break that open. Your second attack, you dig down deeper. The rock layer was fairly thin back here on the back of his neck. On your third attack, you find Krikazhar's actual form, and you strike that blow against his actual dragon flesh. But this is not just an attack. This is a decided attempt to interrupt Tiamat's hold over him. So I need you to make a single. We'll make this a religion check.
All right. Now, would it make any difference if I'm pumping all that super cool holy energy from my shield into it?
Yeah, your shield is the only reason
okay,
you're able to do this. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sweet. Religion. Okay. Oh, cool.
Huh?
I'll take an 18. It seems like a thing
Yeah.
that I can do.
Okay. Okay. As your shield smacks down, and this is like the core. This is right basically at the base of his, his brain stem. You smash down. You've had enough history, fighting dragons and taking apart their bodies afterwards that you have a decent idea of their anatomy, and you being a healer know how the body works and have a decent understanding of dragon anatomy now. So you locate the spot. You've reasoned in your mind what this must be, and that if there's any possible way to interrupt Tiamat's hold over Krikazhar's mind, you would have to start by affecting Krikazhar's mind itself. So you smash this, and you pump the radiant energy from your shield into this one blow. And you see Krikazhar buckle. His legs give out from under him, and his torso, his immense torso, contacts the ground in a huge smash. It's like a mountain falling over, toppling over, like a great tree falling in the forest and just smashing down to the ground. Imagine a mountain did that and slammed down into the ground. The cacophonous roar across the landscape is truly deafening. The big plume of smoke and dust just washes all over the area, covering buildings, covering people, just in dust and layers of dirt and earth, as this plume of dirt goes everywhere as Krikazhar drops down to the ground. And from where you are, Adis, you see the light dim from his eyes, just dim. Down to just a small smolder of light down to where his eyes were.
Oh,
Okay, Renly.
I think you just saved the day, Deimos, and made what I was gonna do possible.
I do not know if I'm going
Renly.
to make this worse, but I'm going to wait. Is he on the ground now? Or can I fly
He's on the
to where
ground.
Deimos is? Damn it. Okay, he's really far then. Huh. Okay, you know what? I am going to do this. I will, in one hand, I have my broom, and I'm going to move sideways so I start falling. As I
Okay.
fall, I will transform into a wind elemental again.
Yeah,
Once
falling
I
is a free
get-
action.
yeah, and I'm going to transform into a wind elemental again. And for my action, I'm going to try to get to that area that Deimos said hit, the part at the
Okay.
neck. And
I'll say you can glide there.
Okay, perfect. And I'm gonna try to greater restoration to try to cut the connection between him and Tiamat, like restore his senses over Tiamat's will, like as in try to break that and try to reinforce what Davis has been doing. I don't know if it'll work
Okay.
or not, but that's what I'm trying.
Okay, what level are you
Okay.
casting this at?
7. That's the highest level slot I have.
Okay.
I have
So
nothing else.
you float down, you kind of coast down, and you see Deimos holding both hands on his shield, his legacy shield, and the edge is cracked down into between two plates of scale in the back. Just this large patch of area where you can see Krikazard's actual form, his actual body, underneath the rock. And you guys are like through underneath 20 feet of rock right now. All raised up around you. It was really a very thick shell of rock that he had brought around himself. And in this area, it was thinner than elsewhere. You get there, and the whole area is just surging with light and divine energy. As Deimos is just holding on, his body tensed, his arms flexed, just holding onto this, doing everything he can just to hold onto this shield. He's screaming. He's this dull scream coming out of his mouth. He doesn't even know what's happening as he's just focusing every bit of his energy into this shield and holding on to it. You instantly recognize what he's doing and join your druidic force to the effort. You land down. You're gonna have to drop out of air elemental form to do this.
Alrighty. Yeah, we'll do that then.
Okay. You land down.
I'll rally it in there then, if I'm in friendly form.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a wisdom check.
Alrighty. That's gonna be bad. I told you it's gonna be bad.
Oh, but aren't you a wisdom caster? Why is your wisdom so low?
I have a 24 wisdom.
That's a +7.
Yeah. So I rolled a 2.
You don't have proficiency. You have a proficiency in wisdom.
It's just a wisdom checks. You don't get your proficiency.
Yeah, you don't get
That's
your
right, she
proficiency
doesn't.
on those.
Only on skill checks.
All right, wait, you
Yeah.
have double. You have double proficiency in history, magic items, on chemical objects. That's your known trait.
Yeah.
Nature, perception, survival, and athletic. You have proficiency in athletics.
For when I'm in wild shape form, I sometimes need to be able to shove.
All right, I'll say that you can make a nature check on this one. So we'll add your
Alrighty.
proficiency. And your proficiency is 6, so this is a 15. Okay. You're barely able to grasp what's happening, but you do realize that the seriousness of this, because as Krikzar's body has impacted the ground, his wings have flapped in the air, and his whole form is very much active and moving. It's not his arm, his legs, and his limbs are sliding across the ground, ripping up the terrain. He's actively struggling in this moment. And you can tell that Deimos' hold here is very tenuous. You jump in, you burn your spell slot, and you add yourself to the strength, manipulating the druidic arts to try to enhance what Deimos is doing and sever the connection, or at least interrupt the connection that Tiamat has with her dragonkin.
I'm totally
Alright.
I'm not quite sure what is going on, with my
You
role, but
guys
yeah.
are fucking awesome. I didn't even have to tell you what I needed you to do for me to do something cool on my turn, and you did it anyway.
Okay. Well, unfortunately for you, Krikzar's turn is first. He is going to
And
make
we
a
have
wisdom
cost.
saving throw. He only has a +6. We'll call this Deimos. What's your spell DC?
Oh, I think it's 20 right now, maybe. Let me double check.
So it's 8 plus proficiency plus modifier plus wisdom modifier.
I think it'll also be higher for some reason, I think.
It's 12. Yeah, so it's 20.
Okay. All right. Krikzard has a +6 to his wisdom check. So here it goes. So that's that'll be an 8. Okay. His body is as you guys as Renly lands next to you, Deimos, and joins her hands next to yours on the shield, and you can see her focus, and her energy that she pours into it is of a very different nature. While yours is brute strength and and effective, but also just kind of um, haphazard. Hers is refined. Hers is soothing. And while yours interrupts works at interrupting the flow of energy, hers works on healing and salving the wounds, the severed ends of the connection. You see Krigajard, all the rapid movement and the flailing and the shaking of the earth begins to subside. The earthquake, that is the constant earthquake that has gone on in this area, that has taken hundreds of lives during this battle, um, dulls down. It dulls to a low rumble. It's almost as if in this moment there is a brief respite. There is a few seconds silence of virtual quiet in this moment as Renly lands there next to you and places her hand on the shield. Adis, what are you doing? You have literally one turn's worth of window.
Is his head resting in the inside of his rock form? Like, could I land
Yeah,
next to his head? All right,
yeah.
I'm gonna fly down to his head, and I'm going to tell all my buddies on my back to lend me their power in the spell I'm about to cast. And I shape change. I let the polymorph go, and I walk up to him, and I'm like, "Be free, friend," and I cast 8th level mind blank on him.
Mind blank.
Ooh, that stops mind controlling thingies, I think.
It makes him
I
immune
think.
to it. And given his hesitation, I would assume he would be willing. And then I'm asking my
One
buddies
willing
to help
creature you
me out a little.
touch is immune to psychic damage. Any effect that would sense its emotions or read its thoughts, divination spells, and the charm condition. The spell even foils wish spells and spells or of a seven power. Take the target's mind to gain information about the target.
Dominate as a charm, I'm not sure. But it might be something related to it. Who knows?
And so I ask the buddies on my back as I transform out to help me out a little, and then I start
Okay, are
casting
you
it
going
on.
back to are you going back to human form when you do this?
Yes.
Or, okay. So you land on. So you guys fly up to his back,
Because I want to be able to
right where
physically my own self touch his head.
yeah, right where Deimos and Renly are holding on to this shield that's been cracked into. This is the only blow that you struck against his real physical form. Um, and you transform into normal human Adis, right there with Deimos and Renly, and you walk up there and you place your hands on the back of Krigajard's actual body, and it's rocky, it's dried up dragon scale underneath, and you can see that his actual form is pretty frail and thin. His form is tattered underneath the stone, um, and you place your hands against it, and it's oddly very warm, um, to the touch. And as you do that, you see that Lothrelian and Kildrak come alongside of you on either side, and they say, Kildrak leans in and says, "I see what you're doing." He says, um, yes, "Allow me to lend ye my aid." And he places his hand on your shoulder, and Lothrelian beside you says, "May the light of Pelor be upon you." And you can see the sunlight, the beam of energy in his that's the beam of sunlight that's been focused in his staff. It's a blinding light as he touches his staff to your other shoulder, and filled with the divine and sun, like solar energy or solar radiant energy, you can feel it coursing through you. You cast this spell. Okay, I need you to make an arcane check with advantage.
Okay. Wow.
No.
He drops a 3.
Wow.
And they were double threes. Like,
Double three.
wow.
Uh,
Okay.
Do
can
you
I
still
blow
have?
my scroll to empower this to get a roll that again?
Do you have Euphemia's thingamajig? The D20?
You already used it.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I used it.
So what are you
I used
trying to
it
do
to
with your
save.
scroll?
Use the scroll's amplify power to get a roll that again.
On the scroll, it gives you 50% on a spell's effectiveness.
Yeah, on
What's your
its damage, saving throw, casting speed, or distance. That's what the empower part is, or the
what's
amplify.
your proficiency bonus is +6?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll say with your spell's ability, focusing on this moment, I'll give you half your proficiency bonus on top of this. So it's a 21.
Okay.
Here's Cricket Shard's save. So this is a no, that's not 11. That's a +6.
He just makes
My
it.
my no, my
No,
spell DC is
it's
22.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I'm double checking,
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure it's 22. This is actually it's 25. My spell DC is 25.
All right, so you had 21. This is +6, +5, 21. Okay. Um, the as you do that, large pillars of stone begin to fall away, just dropping away from this big form, and you can feel it begin to collapse down to the ground below you. His wings, his large, massive rock wings above you, just break and crumble. His big, powerful limbs begin to fall away, and underneath it, you guys find yourself sitting on the back of the very, still quite large, but nowhere near the size of his rock form. Just curled, just like laying on top of this massive pile of stone, is Krigajard. Um, and the, the trauma that you've introduced to his mind has basically shocked him out of his ability to function normally. But you do see his large head just rear up as you guys are all sitting on his back, basically on the back of the base of his neck, and he says, "For once in years, I think clearly." He says, "Thank you, friends." And a heavy sigh, like a crackle of stone against stone, rasps out from his throat as his whole form just collapses down onto the ground.
Oh man.
Is he still alive?
I think he's just exhausted, like
Okay.
mentally and psychologically.
His
Yeah,
mind is blanked. Yeah, his mind is blanked. His form has been thoroughly taxed. You've brought him to the point of pure, the very edge of what his body can take, his body and mind can take. And it's where you had to bring him to 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 make him unusable by Tiamat.
Yeah, that idea of mine literally would have had no chance if it weren't for your Deimos and Rinley. I'm pretty sure.
No, pretty much, yeah.
Because I remember, I think it was Rinley or Deimos had said something about that whenever we had freed that one, but I didn't have a spell slot to cast it on her when we had broke
That's right.
the control on the one girl.
That's right. Kildrak releases his hand from your shoulder and says, "Oi, it looks like our work here is accomplished."
For the moment.
And Terry says, "And now we've got a large sleeping dragon. You know that when he wakes, he'll pull his form around himself again and will be quickly able to do extreme amounts of damage to whatever he wishes to."
Nah, I think Kriegersjard would be happy to not have that happen again, so I think he would be more than willing to allow me to imprison him until we deal with her.
Okay, you guys are sitting on the back of this very large,
Jamo.
unconscious dragon. What do you guys want to do?
Jamos, I need a 9th level spell slot, please.
Is he still awake? I mean, I don't know. Because
Is
I
Kriegersjard
would
still awake?
totally- Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I asked him if he wouldn't mind if I, just put him to sort of like a sleep similar to that for about an hour so he may rest. And I would like to cast like feign death as a ritual. So 10 minutes, it lasts for an hour, and we'll have some time to think about stuff then.
What spell is it?
Feign death. It's just level 3, but you need to touch a willing creature, and it puts it into a basically like a catatonic state that's indistinguishable from death.
Okay. As in that moment of clarity that he had, you got the sense that he would welcome the reprieve, the ability to just be nothing, to think nothing, to feel nothing.
And
Oh, I can-
yeah,
You
that
sense
I'll
that
do it.
that deep within him there's been this great tension, that he was unable to fight against Tiamat's will at all, and that but he was aware, completely aware of everything that he was doing during that whole time.
Is King Lothlorien? I mean, I know elves are magical and all, but is he like me, like a caster? Would I be able to tell that?
Are you asking him?
Or better yet, I'll walk up to him and I'll flip through my spellbook to the imprison spell and ask him if he can cast this.
All right. So you walk up to the king, right? And he's standing there, his armor blazing like golden sunlight.
And I address him as Your Majesty.
He looks at you and he says, "A job well accomplished. He says, before I return to my people, like, what have you asked of me?"
Are you familiar with the imprisonment spell?
He says, "Spell, you say? We elves do not work in spells. Our magic is innate. It is accomplished through communion that we have with the world and elements around us, with the sky and sun.
I see. Please forgive my
I
ignorance.
I work with the power of the sun as I breathe. It is. It happens."
What's the dwarf's name?
Killjack?
I bow to the king and say, "Thank you, Your Majesty," and then I go to Killjack and be like, "Hey, Killjack, could you help me cast this spell? Because I'm a little tapped out at the moment."
Killjack looks up at you and looks at the imprisonment spell. He says, "You plan to drive this beast below the earth? Or what do you
Nope,
plan to do?"
I pull this big 45k cut gem out of my bag and say, "No, I plan on putting him in here."
To entrap the beastie, and that
Yep.
is something
And
I can
he-
help with.
And he will slumber until we release him.
Okay. What's the cast time on it? Is it instant?
It is 1 hour, I believe,
Imprisonment is 1 minute.
or 1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute. There we go.
Okay. 1 minute. All right. Killjack agrees to help you, and Euphemia does as well. And the two of them, they help you craft the spell to be able to fit this massive being essence inside your crystal and to draw it within. It takes a bit of crafting, a bit of reworking of some basic elements of the spell. But over the next minute, the three of you begin to work it together. While he's doing that, do the rest of you guys want to do anything?
I'm just keeping him asleep. I'm doing feign death every
Yeah,
hour.
I'm assuming this entire time I'm using all my actions and energies to keep them down under while they're spending a minute doing that.
Yeah, and it's difficult. So Deimos and Renly, the strain on you guys is significant.
I'll
You can
help you.
tell you're basically fighting. Okay, yeah, you're fighting against the power of a god to assert its will over this being. So Deimos and Renly, you guys, I need you both to roll me your wisdom modifier. So this is a just wisdom check. And Elwyn, how are you helping them?
By keeping their magic flowing, like to help
Mm-hmm.
them unite the magic.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
you know enough about magic, and you've seen high-end spell users craft it in such a way. You can see how Renly's druidic magic and Deimos's divine magic are both fulfilling two ends of this role of this job. You're able to intellectually piece it together and see that by by adding your own strength and your own understanding to the mix and the interaction with the weave, you could aid them. So I need you to roll me an arcane check on top of it. So, actually, intelligence check. So Renly and Deimos both wisdom, Elwyn intelligence. Okay,
I know you
and we're
mentioned
looking
that I
for.
need to be in Mini form to do this initially, but could I be in Moonsight form during the Fein death rituals and all, just casting as Moonsight?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Alrighty.
27, 30, 57.
I'll roll my boon for this round, just in case we need that buff.
You're good because the DC was 60 combined, and you're
Jesus
at
Christ!
57.
Oh
I'm
my
serious. I'm dead
God!
serious. I had set it. I had set to 60 in my mind ahead of time, and you were at 57 put together. So I'm dead serious.
You three are just
Thank
saving
God.
the day this whole fight.
I'd forgotten about the
Okay.
boon until like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. I mean, you've had it the whole time.
I know! And I'm just like, wait, I have the oops.
Yeah. If you guys don't know, this was Renly's boon from Befinzor.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted,
She
like,
can
you
do
know,
it
the talking.
every round.
Oh,
Every
that's
round she can do
cool.
it.
No, you added 90 to your roll. Yeah.
Damage is 90 damage, or
Oh,
Yeah.
if it's damage, multiply by 10. Okay.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah.
okay. So yeah. You guys were failing before until Renly remembered her boon. So you guys feel the struggle, this massive ancient beast, millennia old, from an eon past. This creature was one of the progenitors of the dragon race, that filled the world, that ruled this world, before when your kind were just scraping in the ground, and just living in caves. This ancient being now, in the thrall of its deity, fighting with every ounce of its being against this god that is imposing its will upon it. Is you feel its struggle, its turmoil, and the three of you, joining your strength together, are able to pacify it, to soothe it, to hold the connection in pause, in check, for the brief seconds, the tenuous 60 seconds that Adis needs to cast his spell. And as you do that, Killjack, Euphemia, and Adis focus their energies into this crystal, and they begin to draw Krigajard's form, his physical form, but also, more importantly, his mind and his spirit into this gem. And as the minute goes by, you can feel his form being sucked away underneath you. You can feel, piece by piece, scale by scale, bone by bone, this thing begin to vanish, and you guys begin to sink down, as his form disappears slowly, and just like melting away into this large crystal that Adis has. and you guys find yourself 1 minute later standing on a massive pile of dark black volcanic stone that is now sitting on the area where Sparthorn, the city of Sparthorn, used to be.
Oh my god.
You guys are awesome. Just gonna
I'll
put
forget
that
my
out there.
message.
Are you saying that because the city is gone?
No, I'm saying because this whole thing of saving him would not have worked if it weren't for the three of you. And
Oh, okay.
And your guys thinking, hey, let's get the bitch out of his head.
We do good work together most of the time, right? Some of the time.
As a
Well,
player,
today.
as a player though, I think it's so awesome how all four of us were thinking the same thing, but nobody said anything about it, like out loud. We just did it.
It's pretty darn good.
Now I'm gonna need another gem because this was supposed to be for the demon.
But yeah, I think I'm
Okay.
gonna head out. I swear.
All right, you gotta go, Damos.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Super
No,
that's
long
fine, that's fine.
weekend, and I got to work in like 2 hours, so
Oh,
that's
hey
so
man, yeah,
sorry.
thanks.
Sorry.
I'll be good next week though.
Yeah, well-
Just the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll
are
start
just-
wrapping up here. We'll start wrapping up here. So Darius, so all these guys, most of these guys have armies to tend to. so Zvorik says, he looks at you all and says, "A job well done.
Oh, you're
I
still
can
alive?
Zvorik? Thane Zvorik?
Yeah. Wait,
Zvorik,
the-
not the Dragonborn. Yeah,
not-
Zvorik is the Storm Sorcerer.
Oh, okay.
A
sorry.
job well done. I can appreciate what. He said, I can appreciate the work you have just done to save this creature's life, even though I know that he has been guilty of much loss and pain in this world. Yes, maybe when we are done with this blight, we will see a world in which this creature will be able to be returned to its own kind, to its own self. Should that five-headed bitch fall from the sky. He says, my kind and my people will meet you at the battlefront.
I give him a bow and thank him for coming.
His electric staff crackles and glistens with power as you see him summon a teleport circle underneath him, and his body glows as he just evaporates into static electricity.
So cool.
Okay. Darius says, agreed. This was work well done, and we have removed one key enemy from our foes' list of allies and assets. But know that there are a number more of creatures such as this, and others even every bit as frightening, between us and the center of this portal. This may be the greatest war this world has ever seen. It surely surpasses anything my father or any of my predecessors ever saw. I only hope that I and my family can rise to the occasion. He looks at you all, he says, my men and I, we fight with you, we fight for you.
I just
And,
give him a slight
go on.
bow and say, speaks volumes of your family that you responded to a summons from someone you had never met.
He says, anyone who travels with this lot, and he points at Deimos and Elwyn and Albrecht, he says, is one that I will always listen to. He says, Quigley, come. There is need of you at the war front. You will rejoin with this party soon.
Wait, before you go,
Thank you.
here. And I pass him a pamphlet of Tempest. And I nod towards, Deimos. Because, if he thinks that, anything that, Deimos and all think is good, then I'm sure he's a sure sell for this pamphlet. And I nod.
He takes it hesitantly and he says, I have a small collection of these. and and he puts his hand on Quigley, and the two of them and he raises his hand and speaks into a summoning stone, into a ascending stone, and you can see a basically a kind of gate spell, a portal cast by the mages of Westfane of Hasselin, open up behind them, and they both step through it. Okay. And Terry's steps forward to you all and says, and he looks at Deimos, who's not here right now, but he says, "Don't think that this comes anywhere close to erasing what you and I have, the unfinished business that we have.
Oh, I won't let them forget.
I
don't you
need
worry.
Tiamat."
Well, you'll have her. By the way, how many ants did you kill?
He looks around and he says, he says, he kind of shrugs his shoulders and says, "Shit happens."
Many thanks.
Mm-hmm. He spins his holding his gun sword. He lowers the hammer on it, decocking it, and the whole glowing black blade just kind of dissipates, and all that's left is the steel and black metal revolver in his hand, and he flips it he spins it in his grip once, and holsters it, and then you can see him with his black smoky wings behind him. They kind of just flare out, and he just lifts back off into the sky, and they disappear, and you see him on foot, just kind of like running off up into the clouds above you guys.
That dude's cool. Deimos, why do you piss off all the cool people? Oh, he already left. Never mind.
Yeah, Deimos is gone. Okay. Kildrak and Euphemia both say, Kildrak says, "Euphemia here. She wishes to depart, but I am in need of a good drink." He says, "Surely there was a tavern of some sort in this town before this
Oh,
beastie here tore it to
would you
bits."
like some tea? Yeah, yeah.
I point over at
I've got a pot.
I point over at Kyrgyzstan's form and be like, it's under there somewhere. But on a more serious note, what's his name again? Sorry, I'm horrible with names.
Kildrak,
right?
Kildrak.
I walk up to Kildrak, holding the gym, and I'm like, Kildrak, from what I understand, your divinity is new to you. However, long ago, the gods committed a very terrible wrong against the dragons. Assuming we prevail in our tasks before us, I would like to think that maybe you could help rectify that by maybe finding a place for the dragons to call their own, for such is the price of my service.
He looks at you, and you can see that what you said did more than just propose an idea that was good to him. You can see that it moved him emotionally, because Kildrak specifically and his kind, there's a strain of dwarves that had a deep link, worshippers of Modron, a deep link in their past to dragons. And you guys know that was formed initially when Befinzor befriended the dwarven race and took upon himself the form of a dragon, 8,000 years ago. And so very deep in the seeds of dwarven culture. And now most of dwarven culture has strayed from that truth, but a very deep kinship between dwarves and dragons exists. And Kildrak looks up at you, and with all the seriousness in the world says, "I would wish for nothing better than to see dragons return to harmony in this world. This one, just the first."
Very well. And also, I think you should keep this.
Aye. Says, as he hefts the gem from you, he says, "I'll keep it safe."
Thank you.
And he looks at you, Renly. He says, That's not ale. He sniffs at it. He
It's
says,
got. Try it.
Oh,
"Go on."
It don't have
So what
bourbon
manner
in it.
of?
oh. Rinley,
He sips on it.
Oh,
What?
He sips on it a little bit. He says, "It tastes like ale mixed with flowers."
You're not wrong.
I'll help you out.
He look-
Rinley.
he look-
Give me a minute. We all
Yes.
need a break.
I would
anyway,
prefer
I'll
the
cast-
ale minus the flowers.
Let me find a tree and then we can go somewhere with actual ale. If that's your thing.
I can make a bar, Rinley.
Oh yes, let's do that into the mansion.
I'll cast Magnificent Mansion. and just
Quickly!
stock
Oh,
it.
quickly! Let's
I'll
get you out
stock
of
it.
that rift. Quickly! Oops! I did
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
get quickly out, but quickly, you know, he's wounded. He's very greatly wounded, but he returns to Westfane with Darius.
Alrighty.
Killdrack says to you, he says, he looks at the mansion. He says, Euphemia has been trying for months to get much like that. He says, like, I've been in one before. I do not care to go back. He says, I'll drink your flower ale out here, kindly.
You've been in here, dude. You've drank from my bar before.
He eyes you cautiously for a little bit, and okay, and he rolls his insight check, and he says, "Aye, perhaps for a moment, especially if there's more ale inside. Come on."
More ale than a tavern has.
Oh, hold on. I'll turn into the branch of Yggdrasil, and then I'll cast Tree Stride on myself because I am a tree.
So you walk
In one,
faster.
so in one of her ears and out the other.
So basically, like, go to the hills, we'll get Elvin and like just teleport to you. But walk through me.
Oh my
Oh, I
goodness.
see what you're doing.
Oh man, you know what?
Because I am a tree.
I think that actually works.
You would technically be a tree.
Oh my goodness.
And the tree stride does have a range of self.
So we're going where?
I check with Theo. Where would you like to go to a bar? Like would it be the boy king who you have traumatized?
Yeah.
I think you.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying that's probably the best place.
Yes, let's go there. And so yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll
Aye.
go there. I won't cast
So-
dimension.
Kildrak, happily, he and Euphemia walk through your tree form back to Westfane.
I never put two and two together, but yay!
You know what? I never did either.
And
So
then
many
we get
regrets.
Elwood- and then we call her Uber to take us over.
Okay. All right.
Assuming you have charges, Elwin.
And standing there before you still, Lothrelian. You know, the sun began to fade. The light began to fade from his armor. It's just coming down to a dull golden sheen, like any highly polished, very very well crafted, highly magical armor would be, but now without the radiant light just rippling through it. He says, I have not seen humans and dwarfs acting in such courageousness before. It has been many decades since I have ventured forth from the lands of Ascaria. He says, I am glad to see that the concepts of valor, honor, and courage exist even amongst human and dwarven kind.
If you think that was
See what
courageous, you should see us in an alehouse. Wanna
Oh, I
join?
give him a respectful bow and say, "You honor us, Your Majesty."
He says, I do.
I wave a branch at him to like follow through.
He says,
Would you like to come have a drink with us, Your Majesty? Still bowed, like the arm across the chest bow.
he says, roll a persuasion check.
All right. Let's see here. Persuasion. Oh, I'm too fugly. Oh, a 20. Ooh.
He says, I am needed at my fleet, but perhaps for a brief moment. He says,
We would be honored to have you.
just a moment. But this fight took much less time than I anticipated. So he says, I shall join. And he steps through the tree.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I'm the only tree for miles after cricket
Okay,
shot.
okay,
So I'm
okay.
like, why not?
Before this dude leaves, the elves ambassador is getting fucking fired because this dude's pimp as hell, and that ambassador's a fucking dick.
He is.
So, just as that happens, and you guys are like the only ones left around you, since everyone else has kind of either gone through the tree portal or headed off on their own ventures back to their own lands. You guys see just kind of like a pile of rubble just rise up next to you, and a stocky humanoid form just kind of come bursting out from underneath the ground. Yes, Oi! He says, I heard tell of ale, and I know that where there's ale, there's women, and I know that there's women. You know, there's Volk, because Volk gets his women, and there's ale.
You're still alive.
There's fuck yes, I'm alive.
You shit on me.
Yes, I'll shit on you again for the right amount of gold.
Yeah, no.
No, don't say that. I know you liked that. I can see that look in your eyes. I can see how you looked at me. You liked it. You liked Volk.
True polymorph into a rabbit.
That might be an upgrade.
Okay, so he goes rabbit form.
I cast Awaken on the rabbit. Oh no, I can't do that today. Tomorrow.
And I pick him up and toss him through the tree.
Okay.
What's the name of this kingdom?
The one that you're going to?
No, the kingdom we're in.
Okay, so you are in Taswan.
Okay, we're in Task 1. Cool. Where's that spell? Where's the spell?
So you
Somebody cast a
guys,
spell before we go. Where the hell did it go?
Did Elwin fall asleep?
probably, I know.
Oh no.
No, I'm just my girlfriend's sleeping, so I don't want to make too much noise.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they're in a hotel. That's right.
Second
No,
level spell.
Thanks for coming out for at least participating,
Yeah.
Elwin. That's really cool. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
I love this game,
hope
dude.
You hope so today. So I am going to cast to make it bigger, more pronounced, and more douchebaggy. Skywrite at 5th level, and I'm gonna write, here lies the ruins of the capital of whatever this country is, where its people of proud noble warriors swore to fight this dragon to the bitter end in death, and yet ran like cowards in the end.
Okay.
And
Yes.
with a little PS, fuck you, mage killers.
Okay. So you guys are
And,
here.
oh, and then a PSS. It was mages that saved your piss asses.
Okay. So you guys are here in Task 1. So you guys know, just for coordination efforts, right, that this army was headed towards Mistrala. Now, a large portion of the army was destroyed in Krieger's attack. You do know that a fair number were able to evacuate, especially due to a lot of your efforts to save parts of the city. But this was one of the armies. You know, there's an army. There's a dwarven army coming from Erlen. Ascaria, the fleet from Ascaria is heading this way. You know, the Dragonborn and the Goliaths are heading up from that direction. And I think there's a couple other armies that I forgot about. I have a list somewhere. but the Mistrala is the gathering point. So state of affairs right now, Krigajard is in basically locked with imprisoned within that gem underneath Mistrala, where the armies of Westfane have begun to teleport to gather up in Mistrala. Underneath Mistrala, of course, is Telephos and Ava and the rest of the mages of Mistrala imprisoned underneath the ground. And yes, the other armies are currently beginning their march, or in the middle of their march to some degree, to meet up here. In Kent's, which is over here, at the center of Rapnesh, where the capital was at one point, is the portal, the demon portal, and all around it, of course, we've talked about before the various and sundry and massive defenses that Malconthet has set up to keep the portal active, because the portal is what fuels the war in the heavens, as the demons can constantly pour into heavens from the abyss and from Beator, the 9 levels of hell. You guys are heading to Westfane, which is down here, through your portal, the transport via tree, to go to a tavern down there and spend some time talking or hanging out and just relaxing from this battle. Renly, how do you get through? How do you get there?
I stop Elwin with my branch and I say, we all need to teleport together.
Oh. Because you can't pass through yourself to get there. So just...
I'm not I'm not one of those Mobius strips. No, it does not work.
I was just curious how you're gonna get there. So
Yeah,
I'll
totally
teleport us.
okay, all right. Eventually, all of you get down to Hasselin. You find yourself at a bar. Kildrak and Euphemia are sitting there drinking. King Lothrelian is not sitting; he's standing off in the corner, looking at a mug that Kildrak handed him, not sure what to do with it. There is a bunny rabbit on the counter of the bar.
He unpolymorphed when I cast the Skyrite because I'm concentrating on it for an hour.
Okay, well, Vork is currently in the middle of his cups, fully imbibing himself. He's got a couple of a middle-aged barmaids kind of sitting around him. Easily, they're upper 40s, maybe lower 50s.
He likes him old.
If there is anything you want to speak with Lothrelian, or ask him, or anything like that, you will only have him around for a few more minutes.
I totally go up to him and I go, are you really fond of ale? And I look dubiously at that cup.
He says, "We high elves have existed for thousands of years, independent from the activities of humanity and our wood elven kin. Yes. We gave up the mortal activities of food and drink ages ago. We exist now on sunlight, and our magics are deep magics." He says, "Truth be told, I've forgotten what it was to imbibe." He's looking at the mug and he's kind of swirling it around. You can tell he hasn't. Go on.
Would you like to smell one of my interesting brews? That might work well in an alehouse. Let's try this. And I start telling him about various teas with alcoholic concoctions in them. I tasting it in chat, and I said, you don't have to drink it. It's quite herbal and it's quite nice. I discovered some of these in the Feywild, and yeah, they send you on a bit of a trip sometimes.
He says, perhaps. He says, for one of your stature and your wisdom. He says, we elves have always respected nature and the druidic arts. He says, I will sample as an act of goodwill between our nations and between we as allies. I will sample one of your concoctions.
I give him a flight of teacups with booze. So they're like mini teacups
Uh-huh.
with blues, and there are totally a flight of them. And like each of these has a different word in it.
Okay. He says, choose one for me to. Yes. You must understand. No drink has passed these lips in 600 years.
I'll go with the chamomile tea and gin. With chamomile, it's very soothing.
He takes the small teacup from your hand, and he looks at it and he says, to allies. And he raises it up in front of you.
Two allies, and I grab one of the others. I'm good with all of them, so I'll grab one at random.
Okay.
I
And
mean,
he-
if it's tea, I drink.
Yeah, and he places it to his lips, and you can see him tip it upward as a few drops pour off into his mouth.
That's the spirit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as it happens, his face kind of his eyes kind of shut for a second, and and his mouth shuts, and you can see him deep in thought, and he says, 600 years. I had forgotten the sensation. He opens his eyes up to you, and he looks at you friendly. He says, truly a wonder. And he holds his cup up to you. He says, my gratitudes.
I clink cups with him. We are totally at a tea party, damn it.
A wry smile crosses his lips. And he says, we high elves do not allow foreigners into our lands very often. It has been many, many years since I've even seen one of your stature. Perhaps, should this war pass, if you would ever care to visit the flying cities of Ascaria, I would welcome you, and you may bring your wares. I would love to share this with my court. Several of them I know would enjoy the venture.
I will definitely make a trip. Most definitely. And my eyes are like opened really wide at the thought of tea parties. Tea parties! Yes!
Okay?
Definite highlight of the day. So
Very good, very good. No,
Yeah.
yeah, Lotharelian, he nurses the rest of his. He doesn't chug it at all. Just a few drops at a time, of very light sips.
that's how you do tea.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to ask him or say to him?
Totally chilling.
Okay.
I politely and in the most respectful way possible, given what limited knowledge I know of them, with the courteous bow and everything and the appropriate acknowledgments and so forth, suggest that he might consider an ambassador who's not quite as racist as his current one.
He's very protective. Very.
No, the ambassador's a racist.
He nods. He says, "This is not unknown to me. Truth be told, he is my wife's cousin,
Oh no.
and in
Then
the
I
realm
told him
of Ascaria, he says, bloodlines run thick.
I totally understand.
Oh, you are stuck.
He says,
Yes.
However,
Oh.
he says, to cause tensions amongst allies is not acceptable. We high elves honor our word, and we respect those that we have come into partnership with, and only those. Our foes will fall. Our enemies will tremble beneath our might. The races of man and humanity may rise and fall while we in our sky cities just watch as their short lifespans pass before us. But our word is our bond, and our allies, he says, are sacred. I will have words with Corneliodorus. I will tell him to be better behaved.
If you have any other of your wife's cousins in positions that could do with a bit of a shakeup, do send them over, and we can then set forward a complaint, being allies, and our word meaning something. I can fill out good, complaint forms.
he says, he says to you, he says, I will remember such an offer. Truth be told, my wife is a formidable woman.
Marriages.
He says,
Mm.
um, he says, in our entire land, there is none that I fear, except she. He
Marriages.
he places his cup down on the counter, and he says, "And now, if you'll excuse me, there is a war on the horizon, and while a bit of respite and a bit of a bit of respite is appreciated, we all know that there are dark days ahead. Should you ever need my staff to illuminate your way," and he holds it up and flame bursts from it. He says, "Know that the light of the sun is with you."
Penny,
Okay?
thanks, and
Does he like burst into flame and disappear?
No, he walks out. He walks over to the door, looks at it for a second, just like trying to figure out how it works, just briefly, right? And you can see him reach out to the handle and just like push on it, but it's obviously a pull door. And then he it's not working, so he just pulls on it the other, and he steps out into the night.
oh god,
Oh,
that is brilliant.
Rinley. I don't believe you truly understand what just transpired.
Why? We will be having tea parties soon.
No, you got invited to serve tea to the fucking elven court.
Yes, tea parties.
No. They don't invite people like us to elven court.
Do you know
Even if
how
you
long
were
I've
an
been
elf.
working to start up a tea club?
Even if you were an elf, they wouldn't invite you to something like that. You know how cool that is?
Yes, we have started a tea club. There are little stars shining in Emily's eyes at the moment.
Never. And I'm just like, never mind, you don't get it.
Okay. All right,
Definitely not how I expected that encounter to go.
Me either. All right. So, all right. You guys have two dragons are dead, Shaylin and Praktinic. One is captured. There are 4 remaining.
Oh, I found out something that I was reading about the imprisonment spell.
Uh-huh.
By the way, I can't use minimus containment again.
Oh, it's a one-time thing?
Oh yeah,
If you
you
use it,
do it
if you
again,
use it
the
again, if
previous
you do it
one.
again, it releases
That's right.
the
That's
first
right.
one. So I can't use minimus containment again, which means we have to deal with her. Either what's his bucket has to deal with Tiamat before we get to the demon, or I don't get to make the demon my bitch, which would be very depressing.
This is going to be interesting.
Okay.
And lots of mage killers died.
As you guys are sitting there at the bar, just some time passes. You guys are just kind of just relaxing a bit, and just your defenses come down. Your awareness kind of drifts off as you guys are the reality of what just transpired in front of you, and what's to come is settling across you. You notice a trio of ladies, barmaids, just come by, and they've been serving drinks around everybody, and one of them comes up to you, Adis, and asks if you would care for any other like a refill of your drink.
Insight check.
Okay.
Oh.
Sure.
Is there anything fishy about this chick?
Well, this deep into the night, you're having a hard time telling. You know, she's redheaded. She's been there for for as long as you've been in this bar. She does have a keen look in her eye as she looks at you though.
How old does she look?
You know, the, maybe late 20s.
And she asked if I like need anything else.
If you needed a refill, but she's come up and giving and talking to you specifically.
Well, I don't need a refill, but I'll take you instead.
She looks at you and she says
What?
That's- yeah, no, she looks at you and a smile comes across her face. She says, I was hoping you'd say something like that.
I'm
And
starting to
she
get
puts
killed.
her hand on your arm and she says, "Come this way." And she gestures off to like a storeroom, back behind the counter.
I cast guidance on Adis just in case.
I'm gonna need it. It's been 200 years.
Okay.
You should have asked Amos for tips. Or Elwyn.
Deimos is already out. Elwyn's fallen asleep.
I'm already banging some other chick.
That one's off in the corner, banging another chick. So Adis, you follow her back to the storeroom.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, as soon as you get into the storeroom, she shuts the door behind you, and instantly her arms go around you, and she kind of like wraps you up, and you can feel her pressing her whole body against you, and her lips come up to yours.
I'll be totally honest, as I have expected to get stabbed.
I know.
What do you do?
It might yet happen.
I just go with the flow.
Okay. As your lips come close, they don't quite touch, right? And her lips instead come up to your ear, and she says, "It's good to have you alone." She says, "My mistress will have words with you."
Okay. I'm pretty sure I know what this has to do with.
Okay. And you look over, and this is what she looks like.
Okay.
All right. And we will pick up here next week.
Awesome.
Yeah. If they ever find out about why this is happening, they'll probably all kill me. Can't let Deimos know.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure. I know
Elwyn,
what
do you
it is.
think we're going to see Adis tonight? I think we should just see him in the morning.
Yeah.
And everyone just leaves the bar while you are still in there.
I mean, seeing the track record for the guy so far, I'm assuming that we'll see him happy and cheery in the morning.
Hey, the only one in the group that has bad encounters with women is Deimos. They seem to all want to kill him. I have no track record. At least not for the last 200
Well,
years.
now that he's a guy again, I mean, like, I'm sure that he might be able to find a friendly cat face at some point.
Wait, who's the one that shags the mage lady down south? Is that
The-
Elwyn or the one
Oh,
who
the
makes the
mage-
magic items?
Oh, that's Deimos.
Deimos.
Elwyn's
got-
girlfriend is the dwarf. Okay.
I don't know if I've met her. Have I? My character, I don't think's met her.
No, maybe no, she was there when they made the big mithril ball.
Oh,
Eloise,
her.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys.
She looks more. Her picture looks more barbarian than dwarf.
Yeah, she's a barbarian dwarf. Yeah.
Oh, barbarian dwarf. Oh, cool.
All right.
But thanks for running tonight. It was awesome.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I'll catch you guys next week.
I thought I was
Yep.
gonna have to run because we were all.
I'll
gonna
see you
fucking
guys.
See ya, see ya. Thanks for being here, Elwood.
die. Yeah, enjoy your trip, Elwyn, wherever you went.
Thanks. I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
All right.
Later.
Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Have a good
Later.
night.
No problem.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Take care. Bye.